What's going on, guys? I'm the Beastly Gamer. Welcome to Revolver Live, the gaming podcast that says forget the past, the future belongs to the nerds. I'm joined by the Revolver Live crew. Today we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Wilson. What's going on, my friend?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing real good. I like to go through and do these little introductions, even though everybody knows who the hell we are. I just want to catch up and see how you're feeling, man. Have you had a good week?
Dude, I had a great week, man. Awesome games done quick. Just got done, and I had a great week of watching all the cool speed runs and stuff like that. There's some really cool stuff like Super Dram World and Super Mario World, and a Link to the Past like randomizer run. I don't know if you've heard of a randomizer before.
No.
What's that?
No, I haven't.
So like, you know, in Zelda, you start off and like you go into the cave. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. All the items are randomized, but it has logic, so it won't lock you out of somewhere. So you could open up a chest, your very first chest in like a Link to the Past, and get like the Master Sword or a cape or the mirror or the Moon Pearl or the Titan Glove. So it just completely rearranges all the rewards you get. Anything that's a drop or that you pick up from a chest is completely randomized. So I'm playing my favorite game in a completely different light, and I have nowhere to go. I don't know where to go. I'm stuck.
So the randomizer,
awesome.
I mean, it's obviously a mod. How are you playing these games?
So, I mean, you emulate, you know what I mean?
Emulate.
Don't hate, emulate. You get the ROM, and it has to be the original, like, 1.0 ROM from Japan. It's like Zelda no Densu or whatever. And you go to a website and choose the variations that you want. So you can do, like, swordless or, what was it? Like, one where all the dungeon keys are, like, spread out in all tons of different places. And so you put in your parameters that you want it to randomize, and then it spits out a ROM that you then put into your SNES, and it completely just randomizes the game, and it's so cool, and it has logic to it, so it won't like lock you out. Like there's always a way to go. So for instance, I got like the Titan Glove. So like right away I was able to go to the Dark World like instantly. So I had to go to the Dark World and go to like random caves and open chests to get like the flippers and the Moon Pearl and like all this stuff. Like it's so wild, dude.
Have you this sounds incredible. I never tried it before, but God, it's like it is making some of your favorite games brand new again.
Yeah.
You know what the end game is, you know what the end result is, but it's a different way of getting it, so it makes it all new. It's awesome. But on the other side of this conversation, you were talking about speed runs. I know you watch them. I've watched quite a few myself. Have you ever tried that?
No. It's just, dude, they're so technical, man. Like there's people that have been running these games for thousands of hours, man. And I don't know, like I can't help it. Like I'm a competitive person. So if I start doing it, I'm like, I want to compete. I want to do this. So I actually saw the randomizer run was a race. So the guys both had the same file and had two TVs back to back and were racing each other, and they both finished.
Their randomizer was the same?
Yeah, so all their stuff was in the same spot. But it was totally random to their knowledge, and they had to get all the pendants and the crystals and then beat Ganon, and they did it all in like an hour and a half, and they finished like 2 minutes apart. What? And it was so hype. They'd open up a chest and get a cool item, and the crowd would just go, "Whoa, shit!" You know, like, and it was amazing to watch. I suggest go back to Games Done Quick and watch the VOD. It was like the third to last run, right before Super Dram World and Breath of the Wild, and man, it was awesome. I saw a guy do a speed run of Mario 64, and I'll forever be in awe of what that guy was doing, because I spent probably close to 1,000 to 3,000 hours playing that game years ago. All 120 stars, just maxed out. And seeing the way that they were controlling Mario and just the little devils in the details that they were doing to get certain things, like to do it really, really fast, blew my mind. I could never do it. I think I'd die of stress. It seemed like the stress of getting halfway through it and then fucking up would it would drain you. Yeah, I watched this guy's name is Cheese. On Twitch, and he did the 120 star run in like 2 hours. So it's like a star.
Yeah, that's that right there. Oh my God,
a star a minute.
Oh my
God,
insane. Well, Gary and Briar, I'm sure you guys' conversation is going to pale in comparison to the awesome shit Wilson just talked about. But hey, let's give it a try. Briar,
I watched awesome Games Done Quick myself.
Wilson. Oh yeah, go to Gary first.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I watched a bit of it. To be honest, I respect what speedrunners do. It's not something that interests me. I tuned in and I think a guy was speedrunning Mario World 3 with his dick. I'm not sure though. I didn't really stay for long.
Well,
it was
like,
a dickless
if you
run,
thought that,
actually.
then if he was doing that, Gary, don't pretend you would have stayed and watched the entire thing. Don't fucking front.
Well, they weren't cutting down to the action. I couldn't see that he was, how he was slapping the X button and whatever. But hey ho, it's different strokes for different folks. I mean, if he can save Peach with his schlong, then more power to him.
Well,
anyway,
that's the only way he'll ever get to use it with Peach. How's your week been, Gary? What have you been up to, man?
Oh, you're going straight into me. I've been pretty good. Got to say, I've been playing a bit of variety this week. Still clinging to that crippled carcass of a game, Destiny 2. Been enjoying it. It's been fun.
Crippled.
Loving it. It is. It's trash, but I like trash. So, can't complain. Can't complain.
And you recently bought some new hardware for your streaming kit, and we had a little issues this morning because I guess it was kind of it threw you for a loop as far as your audio, and then it came back. What did you buy?
Yeah, well, it was it's kind of like a way of accessing the PC, like a password biometrics, and it's in the form of a fleshlight. So now I don't have a password anymore. I just stick my dick straight into the USB. And it unlocks my PC. But
you know why it didn't work? Because you have to be erect every time, Gary.
Penal recognition?
Yeah.
I mean, I was. But
it's a lot to ask for.
Still didn't fit. It was sad.
I
know. I've sent it back and asked for a extra small.
Okay.
I was gonna say, is there a length requirement for that?
Yeah, I didn't quite meet the height to get on the ride, but I still tried. I did my best.
Beasley's too big to ride that ride. You know what I mean? Like.
It's like trying to stick a 50-cent piece in a dime slot. It doesn't work, man.
Exactly.
But aside from that, no, I bought some bits and pieces. What I have been doing, and something that I wanted to hype up a little bit and drum some interest for, is a game that's been out on PS4, Xbox, and PC for a while, but has only just dropped on Switch, and I've been playing it on Switch. That's Fury. Have you seen Fury?
Yes, I have it.
Freaking awesome game, so good. It's like a game built for streaming, in my opinion. Because it's a boss rush game. 1 versus
1, yeah.
There's like no trash, just straight in, almost like Dark Souls, like all the the money shots of Dark Souls, but then just level after level after level. And I'm like garbage at games. I'm like the worst player. I have stupid thumbs. So I was like stuck on the second level for like 2 hours, but fucking loved it. Really good game.
I think I got past the second boss and then went on to something else, but you are right. That is definitely a keeper. And now it's on the Switch. The Switch is going to end up they're going to end up destroying PlayStation and Xbox pretty soon.
60 frames per second, 1080p. It looks comparable to the PS4 standard version. They've done a side by side on it. The fact you can take that on handheld, play 720p, 60 frames, laying in bed like Dark Souls-esque 1v1 battles, it's really, really good. Like I mean, I've played a whole bunch of shit, but that was one that I just wanted to rep out and shout out a little bit for people that like Dark Souls but want something that's maybe a little bit easier to get immediate gratification.
Yeah, it's easier accessibility. It's Dark Souls without finding the bosses.
Yeah.
And
you start with all your gear. Like you don't have to level up and raise your sword. Like every move that you're going to have throughout the whole game, you start the game with. So it's just a case of becoming more, gaining mastery over those moves. But it's fucking great, really. And it's like $20.
You're making me want to go back and play it.
It looks really cool too.
It's
got a cool look. The thing that drove me crazy about that was that there's these long sequences of like, I guess you would call them story
exposition.
Yeah, where you're like forced into this like slow walk mode.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this game. Like I could get down with like the super hard difficulty and like trying to beat the boss and repeating over and over, tying over and over again. That didn't bother me at all. I was having fun. And then I had to walk from point A to point B, which was about 15 meters. And it took me about 20 minutes. I was like, fuck this game.
I remember that, bro. Wow, I do remember that now. Jeez.
It didn't feel as bad. I put it into Japanese language, which I do for most of my games, and it flew by.
Of course you did.
That's another.
Yeah, it's built by a French team, but in Japanese for some reason it fits. It looks like Hyperlight Drifter. I don't know if you ever played or seen Hyperlight Drifter. Mm-hmm. If you put that into 3D Wind Waker, like cell shaded style, rather than the 8-bit or 16-bit, whatever it's in, pixel art style, it kind of looks like what I would imagine Hyperlight Drifter to look like. It's a fucking great game though. I mean, like you say, Briar, there is exposition in there, but I guess if you if you want a bit of story, there is story and reason why you're in this multi-layered prison as you progress.
But I 100% agree. And since Briar chimed in with the slowness, how's your week been, Briar? Welcome, man. How you doing?
Very well, very well. It's been a good week. Kind of reignited my passion for Destiny 2 this week. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh,
we got a lot of news to talk about later. Wilson was kind enough to rewrite the TWAB for us, so we're going to go over that. But I have been playing Destiny PvP and enjoying it and having a good time. And my passion for raiding kind of got reignited by the chase for the Midnight Coup, which is a hand cannon. It's a really good hand cannon. Tefty's been kind of on our case about not having it, so Wilson kind of ignited my passion to go get it. So we went and got it, and I did two raids, and it was just fun. It was fun to do raids. It's fun to get loot. That loot drops in the raid, so you can get all excited about it. I don't know, man. It just feels like a good news week for Destiny, a feel good week for Destiny this week.
Okay. Well,
today I had to do a photo shoot though for 14 hours. I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Are you
serious?
Up
late watching Overwatch League is what it was.
Right. What kind of photo shoot would that be?
It started off as a hockey shoot in one town and ended up being a basketball shoot in another town. So I was just shooting pictures all day.
Was it the same players?
God.
No. Hockey players. Oddly enough, you cannot mix hockey players and basketball players. It's like oil and water. They will immediately combust. Fights will break out. Of course, the basketball players will get their asses kicked. You need about a 3-to-1 ratio of basketball players to hockey players to have a fair fight. And fortunately for the basketball players, there's not many hockey players left because nobody really knows what that sport is anymore. So it's a pretty fun fight. You got to be there to see it.
Well, I'm happy you guys had a good week. I'm going to go into something I've done, and I showed you guys pictures. I went on and bought the game that no one should buy. At least that's what you hear in the media.
Oh.
I went and...
You're talking about Mario Odyssey.
Briar?
Damn.
Shit. I went on and bought an Xbox One game, and everything inside
You're
of me...
You're talking about Halo Master Chief Collection.
No, I have that already.
Halo
That's
5.
dope. I bought that the other day.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Master Chief.
Yeah, Briar's just dissing everything. Shit.
Oh, sorry. You're talking about Zelda Breath of the Wild.
No, I'm talking about Destiny 2. Anyway, I went on and picked up PUBG for the Xbox One, the vanilla Xbox, the fat VCR Xbox, mind you. And for days, I've been, really mulling over whether or not it should be a purchase that I should make. And I've been watching Digital Foundry and kind of looking at the reviews. And I've been listening to gamers more so than anything else, people who stream the game. And they're saying that, this game is getting a lot of hate, but it's hella fun on the Xbox. And I even know quite a few streamers who stream this game. And that's what I've been hearing from the actual people playing, that the game doesn't run as good as PC, not even close, but it's still extremely fun and accessible for people who play on consoles. Now, I do have it on PC. I bought it on the PC, and I can tell you right now, it's night and day the way they run. The Xbox One version, it's running better than it initially was because they're patching it every week.
Yeah,
so
it's made big strides.
It's already on patch 5 or 6 right now. So they've been doing a lot of work.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they've been doing a lot of work, but it is not the PC version or even close to that. The graphics are so low; it's lower than the lowest setting on PC. I was just playing a few minutes ago, and I was talking to Kate. I said, "Look at these rocks! It looked like gray carpet." I was like, "What is going on?" But I was able to actually get into the game and play it in the way that suits my play style. I'm a console gamer, and I'll. You know what? I'm going to accept that. I'm the console guy here. I do have a PC. I'm going to buy me a gaming PC because that's what I do. But I think I'll always be a console guy. I'll always have a controller in my hand. And I do understand that you can plug controllers into your PC. But for me, it just feels more natural for me to just play the game on a console. But overall, playing this game now on the Xbox One, I can't wait to get done with the show, believe it or not. so I could jump back into it. You know, I'm really figuring it out. I'm digging
Are you playing this solo, or are you playing this with Kate or with one of your boys? Like, how are you playing this?
Solo.
Really? So you're enjoying it as a solo game? But
Yes.
it's quite the opposite on PC. Like, I mean, I don't know you guys' impression, but I find PUBG infinitely more enjoyable when I'm in a group. Like, I find solo, it doesn't have that same appeal.
It's like a different game to me, solo.
Yeah.
To me, solo, it's almost more like a horror game where it's so quiet and you're running around trying to loot stuff, but you never know where there's going to be somebody like popping around a corner. You know, it's much. When I play with a squad, it feels much more like a tactical shooter where we're gearing up, we're making plans, we're fighting other people. But in solo, it almost feels like a zombie game or something where
it is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah,
I mean,
that feeling
you're
of being alone.
Yeah.
You're inside a house, and then all of a sudden you hear footsteps or you hear a motorcycle, and you don't know which direction it's coming from. You're trying to figure out, who has the drop on you. It is pretty, but at the same time, it's kind of exhilarating to me.
It used to scare me, but now, like, I've become more of an aggressive player, and when I do solos, I'm like, man, when I down this guy, he's out. I know he doesn't have backup. You know what I mean? So I'll hop. I'll try to hop. Yeah, no knocks, baby. Mm-hmm. Straight kills.
Deadly
that's all.
Fucking accuracy.
Yeah, and see, this really goes against something that I would never do. I never buy games twice. I don't like doing that. I used to do it all the time. When I first got my PS4, I bought 2 Call of Duty Ghosts. I bought, all this stuff because I was only digital. But now having it on PC, it's great because we can play together.
Yeah.
Now I have it on console. I figured I'd bite the bullet and go ahead and jump on it.
Let me ask you a couple questions because I'm actually really interested in this because I think this is exciting that this game came out for the Xbox, and I'm hoping that it improves to the point where it becomes like a really popular game on the Xbox because it's a fun fucking game and more people should have access to it. But when I watch this game being played on the Xbox, the thing that stands out to me the most is the wild inaccuracy people have with the weapons. Like, it looks like they're just like kind of spraying almost in a circle around the enemy. Like there's no aim assist whatsoever, right?
Yeah. Okay. So that's something I found when I first started playing the game. I was going to the options. I was trying to see if there was something I was doing wrong because I get in gunfights with people, and then I'd be spraying just around them. It was like I couldn't control exactly what I was shooting at.
Yeah. And
it was very frustrating. I was like, wow, is this game going to be this way forever? And then I started going to first person mode. Completely different.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I heard that's where it's at.
Completely different. I mean, whenever I see people now, you can play in third person, but if you tap the left bumper or the left trigger, you'll automatically pull your gun up into first person mode, looking through down the sights, and you'll still be in third person mode when you drop it back down. So that's what you need to do whenever you see somebody. Much easier to shoot. You can articulate, hit them in their leg, arm, head, forehead, wherever you want to shoot then. But if you're just playing in strict third person, that needs to be addressed. There has to be some degree of aim assist because playing that way, you'll get handled. It's like luck of the draw. You never know who's going to win.
You got a base Xbox One, it's not a launch day Xbox One, but it's a launch year Xbox One, right? Yeah. It's not the S, it's not the X.
Yeah, it's
running good on your one. Your standard one.
The graphics. I mean, I'm playing on a 4K TV with HDR, and you really see how those
shitty the graphics are.
It's really bad.
But I mean, that's not why people play that game.
Yeah,
the graphics even totally on PC arguably are not great, right?
Yeah.
Especially when the game. We were playing a lot of it in the summertime, and I think the game looks a lot better on PC now than it did back then. But it didn't look great back then. I mean, it's arguably still doesn't look great. I mean, it's gotten a lot better. It's not winning any awards on visuals. So
no, it's not. I think it's a rare kind of situation on a console to play this type of game, other than Fortnite. And for me now, having this on the Xbox and having Fortnite on Xbox and PS4, I'm going to play this. To me, it's a better game overall. I think Fortnite's great, but now playing this and actually figuring out what the hell I'm doing, because I don't do mouse and keyboard. It's hard for me to play. Yeah. But a controller, once I figure out what a button does, I'm fast. I'm able to transition into a different move and do something much quicker, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And you were saying that you would like this game to be a big seller on the Xbox. It's already sold 3 million copies on the Xbox.
Yes, it has been super successful. And that was 3 million by the end of the year.
Wow.
Worth qualifying.
That's incredible.
It's halfway through January now, so
it's still, yeah. I mean,
there's two things that drove me away from it. One is the frame rate, and two is watching people try to manage their inventory because it is painful, man. Like one guy's like, I got an AK, and the other guy's like, I got an M4, and he's like, trade me. And it took him like a minute and a half just to like swap out all this stuff and
more than
put
likely,
everything back on. And
these
guys were quick though. They were quick at it. Like they were pressing all their buttons and stuff, but like it was still painfully slow. One thing that has attracted me to the game, like Briar said, is it seems like a lot of people just are potato aim.
Yeah.
Like one guy got downed into a field and his buddy just ran out there, was getting him down. And I feel like it was like that cartoon where the bullets were flying over and making like a silhouette of you. And he's just sitting there looking around. You can just hear pop, pop, ding, ding, just all this stuff. Gets his buddy up. You think they'd run. No, his buddy just starts bandaging up. He's just standing there looking at the guys. Looking over at him, hold on, one more. Let me get one more in, and then they run back, and it was so funny. And eventually, a guy on the other team just ended up getting a car and just mowing straight into him. And apparently, there was cars are really armored right now on the console version.
Oh, really?
So they're like toning them down. Yeah, I think that was in the recent patch. But I mean, this dude they're like, buck it, we can't hit these guys with bullets. He just got in the car and just drove over to him and fucking ran him over. I was like, I want to get in on this.
That's something I've noticed too. I told you guys when we were getting ready during the pre-show that playing on console and watching people play and the way people play compared to PC, it's a completely different world. I've been in gunfights.
Should we buy this game and play it for Revolver Plays? Like, I'm seriously considering it. I mean, how fast can I get a Zim 4 delivered? That's my question.
Yeah,
Amazon 2 days, bro.
Right?
We should ban the Zim. We've got to all be potatoes in unison. We have to be awful.
There was
a guy. I'll ban the Zim.
There was literally a guy inside of a bathroom waiting for me to come in to see what was in there, and he was standing behind me. I got shot twice in the back and then quickly exited out the door. Then I came back around. I came back around, and he was like looking at the wall, like he didn't know where I went. And then by the time he came back around, he was dead. But I've had gunfights with people who are
back memories.
25
so bad.
25 or 30 feet apart. And you know, I play more games than probably a lot of people. I'm hitting this guy, and I swear I didn't get hit once. He shot like 8 times. And I was like, wow, these people they're playing it like, you know, Call of Duty or something. And I think that this game is more tailor-made for the mouse and keyboard. And so they're trying to transition that feel to the PC, to the console. And for people on consoles, it's very, very hard to figure it out. When I first started playing it, I didn't know what the hell I was doing as far as shooting people. Yeah. There was 2 guys shooting at each other, and I'm shooting, and I don't think I hit either one.
Because I gotta dig my Xbox out of the closet, I think. This sounds like something I need to experience for myself.
USB charger? Get the old USB charger out?
Yeah. I think this might be fun. Man, what is it? It costs $30 on Xbox?
It's $30, yeah.
Brian, man, there's an old proverb that says, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So
yes.
You may well clear up, you know.
Well, check it out. You guys know I'm no savant in this game, but I mean, the game before we came to the pre-show, I was 6th place before I failed. And I think I've been in like the top 15 for like the other 4 or 5 games today. So, I mean, I'm actually killing people. I'm 4 and 5 people per game.
Nice.
And that doesn't happen on PC. So I think I want to get much better. I'm having a lot of fun.
Don't do yourself a discredit. You kill people on PC. I mean, the fact they were your teammates is one thing, but you know, you got some kills in there.
No, Gary.
That backhanded ass compliment.
I think
God
the only time Beasley heard a shot was when I shot him in the face when he was coming out of a door the other night.
You sure did too. I killed one guy that day, and that was like the first legit kill I've ever had with you guys. There was a guy who was, remember, I was laying on the ground. There was a guy in front of me. I didn't know what the hell he was doing, and I shot him and I killed him.
Yeah.
And you guys were like, "What the fuck was he doing?" Yeah, that was the only other kill. But I did come. There was a guy coming around the corner when we did Revolver's plays, and I did take someone out. So that was
Hold up that shotty like Don Gotti, man. Just
wow, got him. Exciting times. For those who are new to the show, Revolver Live is a gaming podcast with 6 revolving topics. You can become a part of the show by submitting your topics for consideration at revolvergamescast@gmail.com. That's revolvergamescast@gmail.com. We go live every Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Briar Rabbit. That's twitch.tv/Briar Rabbit. The video is then shared on YouTube at Briar's channel and my channel, Beastly Gamer. If you're unable to see the video format or the live feed, check us out in podcast form on Podbean, iTunes, or your favorite podcast service provider. And that was the longest intro ever. Welcome to Revolver Live. We got some great topics to get to. I think I kind of rolled over one, steamrolled one already.
You did. What do we... That was our big finale. So the rest of it's downhill from here.
Oh,
that was it. Done.
That was the finale, huh?
Man,
shit.
Peaked kind of early.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
I don't think we mentioned dicks once.
Shit.
Oh, we definitely have with.
Yeah, we did, Briar.
Yeah, games done quick.
Yeah,
speed running with the dick.
You good.
Yeah, Gary got us covered.
Yeah,
came in strong.
Joystick. Yeah. All right, so
the joy dick.
The first topic is Destiny 2 to receive pretty significant updates, and of course, this is exciting news for the people who've drifted away from the game over the past few weeks and months. Who would like to get started with this topic?
This is my topic, but Gary, you want to roll me out on this one, man? I feel like you're kind of better at. I'm kind of awkward at rolling through these and spend too time on certain ones. Why don't you just roll us through these, or just kind of let us know maybe what we shouldn't. Maybe if you want to listen to all the changes and news and stuff on them, definitely check out DCP. But the reason why I had the entire TWAB in here was to basically just kind of give us bullet points and maybe like what some of our favorite things about the update is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to buzz through the big bits, and I guess we can just stop and talk shit about the stuff that we think's good or bad. Like Wilson said, it's not a news podcast. I'm sure you're not here to find out the details on exactly what's happening on Destiny, but what is happening is the Eververse is being scaled back. Significant changes of more loot from the Eververse is coming into the game, and I know that's been something that we've all wanted, campaigned for. I mean, Briar started a movement around
it. Sure did.
Good story. Started the movement with the YouTube video.
Tess
he did.
Must die.
Tess
I
must
saw him
die.
storming the Bastille with like severed head of Tess on a banner.
I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Like Eververse, like it's so dumb. Everybody hates it. Nobody wants to fucking work for a couple hours and be like, okay, let me turn this in and maybe I'll get something I want. And then like you get it and you don't even remember when you got it. It's dumb. It seemed like a no-brainer. We've been talking about it for months. It's about time.
Yeah, I think as a community we got basically everything we wanted from this, right? It's from the community outrage as a whole. I mean, I think very few people actually thought they would just get rid of the Eververse Trading Company, but when you go into the negotiation, you aim a little high.
Yeah.
you accept, middle ground. And they're making some changes that not only is there going to be more of the loot that was exclusive to the Eververse Trading Company available from in-game rewards, but also the stuff that is available in the Eververse continuing on. You'll be able to actually buy it with agency. You won't have to rely on RNG. Like, so if there's armor there, theoretically, it looks like you'll actually just be able to buy that piece of armor instead of having to just rely on RNG to continue, hoping you get the armor and keep spending money. So hopefully,
it sounds good on paper, but I'm sure they'll fuck it up somehow. I mean, I hate to say that, but hopefully they don't.
On this, I mean, we could go through each thing line by line, but I think it's probably better to discuss it like as a whole. The piece, what we've got, and I've seen it in this chat here, and I've seen it on the forums, and I've seen people make videos around it saying this should have been here at launch. This is too little, too late. This is there. This seems to be a common theme. And what I'd say is, I'm sure, I have no clue of knowing what went on at Bungie. I have no clue how they develop games. Developing games is not easy. We can say that categorically. And what I'll say is, I'm sure that every good idea, or most good ideas that we've had as a community, and that you see listed here, were things that Bungie would have loved to put into the game at launch if they had the capacity to. I think the fact that we're only getting this now is illustrative that there was significant development problems that we are not aware of with the game, and that we are now, yes, I think, everyone's got a fair right to say this should have been there in the game at launch. I think a lot of things could have been in a lot of different things when they were released, and in an ideal world they would be. But I guess what we can see now is that Bungie is not lacking ideas and creativity to deliver them, but I think that they lacked the capability at the time that they needed to do it. I mean, I don't know, what do you guys take on that? I think that, us saying, why did they not know this? I think they did.
I mean, I agree. I mean, they are a couple steps ahead of us. They know how games are developed. They know some of the things we're going to like, some of the things we're not going to like. Like, I understand like people's frustration with it, man. Like, we've been super patient, and all during Destiny 1, we've been waiting for changes, and we finally get them. And we even said at the end of Destiny 1, this is what the game should have felt like at launch. You know what I mean? Like, and then Destiny 2 rolls around, and everyone's on that honeymoon phase of, oh, the game's great, we're having a really good time, and everything's awesome. And we generally were. I'm still having a good time, but like, I'm just exhausted, man, from just having to wait all the time for these changes and stuff like that. And like, I'm happy that they're being a little bit more open and communicative, or communicating more and things like that. But it's just, like, come on, man. Like, I know some of the stuff's coming in January that we talked about with Eververse and Masterwork armor and more unique raid rewards with like raid perks on the weapons and stuff like that. But we got stuff coming in February and spring and fall of 2018 or sooner. But it's like, man, I thought fall was going to be like, the Taken King, like a big rework, or as Tefty's calling it, the Taken Queen. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just, I'm happy that these changes are coming, but I'm just like, God damn, man. Like,
I don't feel like they get the free pass that they did with Destiny 1 either. Destiny 1 felt like a company that was, reaching out for something that nobody had ever done before. And yeah, they're going to fuck up along the way because, they're forging new ground with this game. Mm-hmm. Right? Destiny 2, you don't get that benefit of the doubt there. And then, to just start moving stuff from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2, I don't know. Like, I kind of agree with Wilson. It's just exhausting. It's like, we're going through this again. And there's other stuff here that's like really exciting, but it's going to be a long, long, long road if you're a Destiny fan to get like the game that you're hoping for, or the game that you were hoping for when Destiny 2 was being talked about.
Well, if you ask me, I think that Bungie is in a very precarious situation because consumer confidence is so low right now that just doing incremental steps to lull people back in, I think they got to go balls to the wall to try to appease their consumer base.
There is one thing, Beastly, that's happening right now that if you're a Destiny fan, you've got to be excited about, and that's Chris Barrett. Chris Barrett is on Twitter right now, and he is saying all the right things. And if he's going to follow through with what he's saying, I got to say, like, I am extremely excited for the future of Destiny. He's talking about, balancing weapons. He's talking about changing the way mods work. He's talking about changing the way Crucible works. He's talking about changing weapon slots. Like, I mean, he's talking big.
Making snipers and shotguns and fusions great again. Literally is what he said, making them very powerful again. Fusions feel great. Shotguns feel good. Snipers are awful right now. They at least need a buff in PvE, if anything. But he is saying all the right stuff, man. And I hope he's going to deliver on it. Because, I mean, we all know actions speak louder than words. You know what I mean? We've heard it all before. We're listening. I'm ready for we're doing. Doing.
I think that's what Chris Barrett is saying, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And the thing is we've got to wait, and that's the exhausting part that you're referring to. It's like, they're working on it, but we're gonna have to wait. I was excited to see 6v6 coming back, Rumble coming back. Rumble's not coming back till fall. Like, wow, fall?
Perfect for Crimson Days or whatever.
Yeah,
would have been a good time to bring it back.
I don't know. I mean, just looking at the whole list there and everything that's been said and other things, I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of straining with no shitting, really. It's kind of a difficult analogy to say, like, we've got the community who are demanding a lot of Bungie, and rightly or wrongly so. It doesn't change the fact we've got the game that we've got. We can play the game that we've got, or we can play other games.
That's the thing, though, with Gary, is that when I do play the game that we've got, I have fun. A lot of that is because I play with you guys. Like, in all honesty, right? Is I enjoy spending time with you guys and shooting shit. Like, the other night we jumped into Crucible at like 8 p.m. at night. Friday night is like I had played the raid. Me and Wilson played the raid. We both got off, had some dinner, came back. We played a little bit of Crucible, and we were just having fun, fucking shooting the shit and fucking up, enemy guys. We were just playing quick play and racking up big kill games, and that was fun still.
Let me ask you guys a question, okay? Mr. Acosta just mentioned this in the comments, but what AAA game out there takes away, very enjoyable aspects of their game just to bring it back a few months later? What is the reason that Destiny is doing things like that, taking away Rumble and taking away different modes just to bring them back later instead of leaving it there for the gamer?
They did the same thing they did with Destiny 1, whereas they were midway through development of Destiny 2, and they basically said, we don't like where this is going. We're putting new people in charge. We're scrapping some of the stuff we got. We're going to develop some new stuff. Like, they basically had like a year and a half to develop the game.
Yeah.
A lot of the quality of life changes that happened in Destiny 1 were already while Destiny 2 was being developed, so they hadn't even gotten any feedback yet on how this stuff was going to be received. So they didn't even put it in the game. Like, the game was, less, about a year out when Taken King came, or was it Rise of Iron came out?
Iron. Yeah, Rise of Iron came with a lot of stuff.
Like, maybe it's just my fatigue in hearing it, but I don't know. I'm just taking a step back and looking at the entire situation that we've got. I don't understand why people making the claim this should have been here at launch is going to have any impact on the material situation, either for us, for Bungie, for the community.
Grapes, but it's like, it's okay for people to be mad too. It's okay for people to just be fucking mad. Like, that's all right.
I would have been happier if the game would have just came out in March with Osiris, the new expansion, and we would have had multiple betas to play a lot of this stuff. Like, we need what do they call those public test servers? You know what I mean? Like, even if it's just a playlist. Yeah. I mean, this is what we're thinking about doing. Here's a playlist. It's called Public Tests. Go in, have fun, leave your feedback here. Try not to be too big of a toxic dick. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that would help so much. Like, I don't understand why in 2018, like, there's such a disconnect between, not even really a disconnect, but like the speed at which some of this stuff can be done. I understand that games like Fortnite have a smaller dev team and can make group decisions faster that are more heavily impactive on the game. And maybe, Bungie having a decent sized studio, stuff has to go up the ladder and back down the ladder, and somebody might not give the right information somewhere in there. And it's just, it sucks, man. Like, I love the game to death, dude, and I've defended the shit out of it. And as much as all these changes make me happy, like, exotic masterworks, like, no doubt, that's awesome that they're doing that, because right now I'm not equipping exotics because they're not making orbs. You know what I mean? Like, and it's cool that a lot of these changes are coming, but I think when people say this should have been there at launch, I think subconsciously people are saying, damn, I wish I could have waited another half a year to a year for this to come out. And I'm one of them.
It's just like feedback and the way that we get it. I mean, noise is noise, and noise is great, but it's the fact if you're shouting at a developer, and it's the same way if you're defending a game, I think that's toxic in its own right. But if you're just shouting statements at a developer like, why didn't you do this? What AAA game doesn't do this? Things of that nature. I don't know. My view is, if you don't like something that Bungie's doing, tell them the thing you don't like. If you say, I don't like how focused this game on the Eververse is, it's a fair comment. If you say, I don't like the limited pool of strikes you've got, fair comment. But telling them, you've got to change it back to this, you've got to do this shouldn't have come out like that. We're not really having a dialogue there. We're just venting. And like Briar said, it's fine to vent, but I think, but it's me just speaking for me. I'm tired of hearing venting. If you want to be,
I hear you.
If you want to give feedback, if you want to give direct and heavy feedback, shoot away, do it. I think everyone should. But if you just want to make statements, again, there's like, it's not going to make anything change for anyone. It might make you feel better momentarily, but I don't know.
Well, I think it's also important to, if you're giving feedback, say, this is something that I enjoyed. I had fun with this part. and then say something that you don't like. You know what I mean? Because it's really hard for them to go off of if you're like, I don't like X, Y, and Z, and you don't tell them that you liked A, B, and C. You know, like, so I feel like it cuts both ways, or, you know, there's a little balance to it. You get, obviously there's something about the game you enjoyed because you picked it up in the first place. So let them know about it, and then let them know the stuff that you don't enjoy, and try to refrain from using words like fuckwad and, you know, things like that. And they might actually listen to what you have to say. I agree. I agree with you, man. But I feel like that's like people saying this should have been in the game. That is a collective. That has been everything that we think should have been in the game. We've been asking for since the game came out. And I think people are just tired of reiterating that same thing over and over and over again. So then people just sum it up with, it should have been there at the beginning of the game. Because, I mean, the community has pretty much well spoken on this, that a lot of this shit should have been in there at the beginning of the game, because that's what made Destiny 1 successful. You know, this next update is, you know, Destiny 2 / Destiny 1, you know, like, and it's 2 steps back. When we're all looking for a new game and wanting to go forward, and, you know, it just sucks that, you know, I feel like it's kind of tied. The development of Destiny 2 is being tied down by Destiny 1. Let
me ask you guys a question. A lot of people are discussing like what they should do with weapon slots, like moving forward. A lot of people aren't happy with the 2 primaries. They currently have the kinetic, the energy, and power, and kind of all your one-shot weapons are lumped into power. What do you guys think the path is moving forward? Because initially, if you had asked me 2 months ago, I would say they're not changing that. But when they added 6v6, I'm like, well, they really said they weren't going to add 6v6 to this game, and now they're adding it. So now I feel like almost anything is up for grabs. So if you're going to change it, what would you guys change it to?
I mean, I hear a ton of armchair devs in forums who seem to have it all worked out for Bungie. Already, they're just sort of sitting there going, oh man, if these guys just did this, it'd be fine. I actually think that people don't know the solution. They know what they want. They want to feel powerful. They want the power weapons that they favor to be viable. I actually really like kinetic and energy as a concept. Too, yeah. I like the fact that I'm not... Right, the problem with what we used to have is I've got a sniper rifle and I've got a hand cannon, let's say. I'm out of sniper ammo. I am now ineffective at anything that isn't a hand cannon engagement. At least now you've got the option to say, right, I'm going to have a long-range weapon, I'm going to have a short-range weapon, and I'm going to have power that's... I like it. I'm going to have power that's somewhat viable. I think if there was a way to keep the system that we have without massively overhauling the game, but just make a bit more distinction between what makes an energy weapon and what makes a kinetic weapon, I think that's a starting point. And then in the power, I think you need to make power more readily available, which is something that they seem to be doing, you know, adjusting the volume and, you know, whatever, the distribution of power. I think if you make it more readily available, and also I think sniper rifles and just an idea got off the top of my head. If you want to make sniper rifles more viable against something, you need to make them compete with the other available things. So rockets, for example, you don't necessarily need to move snipers into the energy slot, but let's say you gave snipers something that increased their power level, and not flinch and things like that, because that triggers people. But let's say when you had ammo with a sniper and you ADS'd, I don't know, you had like Widowmaker's ability where you could see through light terrain. You could track the people coming into a lane beforehand, so then you could anticipate them moving in and hit them before they flinched you. And you know, this would be like, hey, you know, my sniper is really effective at something, and that's a way to make.
It'd be too easy in Destiny, especially if you pop the controller on.
It doesn't have to be that specific example, but like
for sure,
if they just increase the power.
I think when you pop power, it should just drop for everyone who's close by, like it did before. I hate to go back to the Destiny 1 thing, but you know, I don't feel like. Sure, a 4th weapon. I've heard multiple solutions. 4th weapon slot. You know what I mean? Cool. Sounds awesome. Move snipers and shotguns to the energy slot. Well, they're still one-hit kill weapons. You know what I mean? So they can't do that. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, maybe you could, but you'd have to work. I don't know. It's not my job to find the solution. It's my job to say what I want and that I want to feel powerful.
I mean, it's just about making them more desirable. Or like, you know, fusions, they're an experimental weapon. So why not make it that all fusions have like a high percentage chance to refund the magazine on a kill? something that just keeps it like, synergy of that weapon. I think that if you made them more desirable and made power weapons more readily available, half the time that power comes onto that board, or put 2 extra power crates in. So every minute there's 4 power crates on a map, not 2. Just anything like that, just something that spices it up a bit. I think asking for a complete overhaul, saying go back to D1, is just reflecting to what you know. If you did that, I guarantee 2 months down the line from that, people would be saying, fucking weapons, look at this. People just shotgun apes and snipers, and it would just go back to what we had. People are never going to be happy.
What if your power weapons were able to be picked up by teammates, or maybe upon one death, it respawns with you? Like you're able to keep it one more time if you die, if you haven't used it. Would that be I think that would be awesome. Rather than.
I think there's multiple avenues that they could go about it. You know what I mean? But like this would be a perfect time for that test playlist. You know what I mean? Like, hey, 1 week, try this, try this, try that. We're going to look at our analytic data, and then we're going to see what you guys think about it. You know what I mean? I think the only thing wrong with snipers right now is they don't do enough damage in PvE. They do enough in PvP, which is fine, but it's just a flinch. That's all it is, man. You don't need to get it.
Snipers aren't fun to use. That's the problem.
Snipers are a blast to use when you're not getting flinched at. You know what I mean? That's the problem. When 5 guys come around the corner, and like I said, one hand's on the dick next to him, and the other one's got a meat a multi-tool, and they're just, going off, and you can't hit nothing, man. Like, reduce the flinch. Sorry for that visual. Reduce the flinch. Maybe make it so if I'm near an enemy who picks up a power crate, that I get some, maybe not all of the power, but maybe a little bit to wet my whistle, get out there, get a couple shots in, and get that fantasy back. Sniping was... oh my God, it hits every pleasure zone for me anyway, dude. I love it, man. Like I wasn't the greatest, but I wasn't bad at it either. And I could see myself improving as Destiny 1 got closer and closer to.
There is a sound that comes out of a Wilson after a snipe. That hits my pleasure zone.
I heard that same noise come out of him after the Acrius 3 piece. That was a very similar noise.
Ooh, with the shotgun too, man. You're right. That's the first time I've ever had that feeling with a shotgun.
That's a good shotgun.
It feels amazing. Like that to me is what a shotgun should feel like.
Yeah.
The Acrius.
Well, if they're gonna be in a power weapon slot, they should be powerful as shit. I mean, because they got to go up against goddamn rocket launchers, and that to me is really the problem with that whole paradigm in PvP, is that rockets are just too fucking good compared to snipers and fusion rifles and grenade launchers even and shotguns. So swords. I'm actually a huge fan of the 4 weapon slots, because I do like the kinetic and energy slot. I think that's fun. I like being able to have a hand cannon and a submachine gun, or an auto rifle and a scout rifle. Like having 2 primaries makes me feel like I've got more options, right? It just makes me feel good. And if they could separate out rocket launchers with the other current power weapons, the stuff that used to be energy weapons, like fusion rifles and snipers, then you also can have it separate out when the ammo is available. So you can have slow delivery of ammo for rocket launchers, but slightly faster for shotguns, fusion rifles, and snipers. Sniper rifles, I think, just have to be fixed. Like, I don't understand why they're so shitty right now, but they feel really shitty. They're not fun to use. I know Wilson finds them fun to use, but I don't find them fun to use just because they're so fucking hard to use and they're so useless in PvE. Like, there's just no fucking reason for me to pick up a sniper rifle right now.
Agreed.
So, to me, I like that solution because I get to keep my 2 primaries, which I find fun and I find rewarding, but I also get I get more available slots. Like it doesn't, just because I want to do max DPS to a boss doesn't mean that now I just can't run around with a shotgun or a sniper, right? So I think the additive thing is the better way to go here. A lot of people are voting for this like return to Destiny 1 with the primary special and heavy. And to me, it's just, we had that for 3 years. It was good. It was restricting. I feel like it was restricting compared to what we have now. And I would like them to just break out the power weapons into 2 different categories and then they could balance those independently of each other, and rockets will always be there for doing big DPS to bosses or for doing mass, like, huge area of effect damage in PvP.
Are you thinking like light power and heavy power, like two different categories like that?
Yeah, kind of. Basically,
one's faster and one's more powerful and slower.
Basically, rockets would be a category of their own, is basically what I'm saying.
Pretty much.
And then grenade launchers, basically the rest of them, you could have, you could have more like green ammo or something. And that green, or I guess there already is green ammo. Give it another color ammo, yellow ammo.
Yeah.
And that would control the pace in PvP of how fast people can get sniper ammo or shotgun ammo, like they were doing in Destiny 1 by the end of it. I think that's a cool idea, because I don't want to lose something because people want to snipe. I don't want to lose my primary energy weapon because people want to snipe. So I think additive is the better way to go here.
The piece that Paul Tassi put out, I think it was a day ago, on his concept for Destiny item sets. I mean, that was fantastic, and it's something I wanted to pimp out a bit here.
It's featured in Forbes magazine?
As Briar Rabbit himself has been. Paul was looking at what makes Destiny special. And it's the acquisition of loot, the chase for loot, and also what do people want to be in PvP, and that's more powerful, and have builds and have unique elements that they're strong in this certain way. He's just put an example down here, but like the Division, you've got sets that you build, and you get a set, and even though the weapons in the Division are fucking boring, they're just guns, they just shoot, the fact that you get sets that fundamentally change the way that gun performs, or your ability set perform, based on the armor set you use. So you can be like this particular class, but now this class is using this armor set that makes it work in a certain way. Same as Diablo, you can be a demon hunter, and you can play 40 different ways as a demon hunter, and not because your perk sets. I mean, yes, you can set your perks and your skill trees differently, but the armor sets themselves change it. And he said, like, his example is, imagine having something like Dredge & Yours Gunslinger set, right? So it's themed in the lore. If you're a gunslinger, you can collect the Dredge & Yor set, where like 2 set items would be 3 mobility, 3 set items would be like health regen when you dodge roll, so health regen immediately starts. 4 would be hand cannons poison enemies, so hand cannons become a thorn effectively, and then 4th would be your golden gun becomes a thorn, which does double precision damage and permanently poisons PvE targets. So it's like, how much more interesting now is the gunslinger class, and how much more interesting is that player? And you could have 8, 9, 10 different sets of armor that all make the hunter unique, and that's just for like the subclasses there. For me, I think that would massively benefit the PvE game, because you'd be chasing sets, but then also you think, how fucking good would this set be in PvP? And I've got to give up my exotics to wear this set, but I've now got a set bonus for that. What do you guys think of maybe going down?
You could even take it
That's insane,
I love it.
Yeah.
You could take it even a step further and have one of the pieces be an exotic. You know what I mean? And like, because they're talking about making exotics stand out again in fall. That was one of the things they want to address. That'd be the perfect time to do it. Make one, like the Saint 14. Make a set, the Saint 14 set, and the helmet is the end of that set. You know what I mean? And it synergizes with bubble. You know what I mean? Something to do with your bubble. Like it'd be perfect. Like just make one exotic piece be a part of that set, and you build off that piece of exotic armor with legendaries. I think that'd be a great idea. It'd be awesome, man. It a lot of diversity, and I mean, I'm sure it'd make balancing a fucking nightmare, but hey, that's some of the fun stuff, man. When for a month or something's just destroying shit in PvE, you know what I mean? And completely throwing off the balance. But like, that's part of the charm of Destiny that we fell in with. This week, this gun's broken as fuck. Like, you better hop in and check it out.
There's balance and imbalance, right? If all of these were really, really powerful set bonuses that you had to work your arse off to grind this 5-piece set, and then were strong, but you could be counted. You've got that strong gunslinger. They've got someone like an idea down here for like the Dawnblade, where I'm not going to list every set item, but when you die wearing the Osiris Dawnblade set, you could summon an avatar of yourself, the same way like a Warlock self-resed. You get like 15 seconds where you get all your abilities and things back, and you can revive a teammate, as a thing. So there could be lots of ways that you play that you think, oh, this guy is wearing the Osiris gear, watch out, he's going to self-res when he dies, because you can see his set bonus, and it makes you feel powerful. It gives you something to chase. You're working really hard to get something that you can then deploy in Crucible and PvE. In the raids, you might be like, yeah, this is the best PvE set. I'm going to wear this. You could couple it and say he's got down here. Well, if you're in the Osiris gear, why not have it where if you also wear the Vigilance Wing, you get like a special unique ability because that's a weapon tied to that. I think using the equipment they've already got, without having to say you've got to change it back to D1, you have to change this, change that. I think they could just work with the blueprints they've got here to make something really special if they lent more into the RPG aspect, but they're reluctant to do it because it's a shooter first.
Well, they also, I mean, they said this on the Bungie podcast when they released that. Was that in November when they released that?
Yeah.
October, November. Is that they really targeted the casual crowd, right? And this kind of idea, I think, would really please the hardcore crowd because it not only would give us something to grind for, but it also give us a lot of customizability. It would give us ways to kind of really feel like our play style is being incorporated into the character we're building. Like there's all sorts of good stuff that comes out of that system that Gary is proposing. And I really support it, but it's just not copacetic with the casual game that they wanted to make. When I envisioned Destiny 2, I definitely, before it came out, I envisioned it being like kind of moving in this direction because this is the direction we've been asking for. It was so. This is it, Gary. This is why people are like, it should have been in the game from launch, because we're just so fucking shocked. We're just so shocked.
I mean, I think something like that, and it's not my idea. Again, back to it was Paul Tassi in Forbes referenced the article. I think that's actually less hardcore than what we got. Them doing mods 2.0. Mods are fucking complicated. They're difficult to understand. You have a spreadsheet to understand what is available and what you can do with it. Collecting a piece of armor that says on below it, if you get 2 pieces, it does this. If you get 3 pieces, it does this. And it might drop from public events, or it says, this only drops from Mercury public events because it's this. Bad example. That's one public event.
Make it work like the Crucible, like we've been grinding for the Crucible helmet. Yeah, like the ornaments. Make it like the ornaments where, you just gotta grind a specific event to get a certain piece of armor, and then
because you don't need to customize it. You put it on, and you're wearing that armor piece that does that thing when you wear it with something else. Yeah. It's exactly what they want to do, which is curated builds, which they did to our skill trees. Bungie made our skill trees curated. I think armor sets that have abilities that are curated are a far easier thing to balance than saying this mod gives your gun Firefly. Because that opens up a whole world of variants, and that puts off the casuals. But hey, I'm not a game dev. That's my own take on how to keep it appealing to casuals, but give the hardcores something to grind and make PvP more interesting.
What I want is more RPG in Destiny 2. It's like I want
that would be great.
I want more customizability. I want more of my personality to be reflected in my character, and I feel like we got less of that in Destiny 2 than we had in Destiny 1. When I first realized that, here we are again, I can't believe it's not in Destiny 2. When I first realized that we didn't even have a character creator for Destiny 2, I was like, really? Like, why not? Like, we made these characters 3 years ago. Didn't you ever think that we might want more options in Destiny 2? It's so surprising. That's why it keeps coming up, Gary. That's why we keep saying, it's just because it's so surprising. It's shocking.
For sure. I'm just trying to make suggestions and ways to be constructive and move forward.
No, totally, definitely. Man. I agree. I feel like we can go on all night.
Oh, for about sure. This, I can talk about Destiny for hours and hours.
Yeah.
You do it.
The podcast is now 7 hours long. Clear your schedule, guys. We're going through the night.
Let's move on to topics.
Yeah, let's move on.
So the next topic is mine. It's something I thought of about a week ago. One of my favorite YouTube channels to watch is Digital Foundry. Ledbetter and team, they routinely scrutinize and analyze the latest in PC gaming, graphics cards, consoles, and the console generation. So right now, really popular consoles that they're looking at are the Xbox One X, PlayStation 4 Pro, and of course PC GPUs. And what they do is they look at games, they check the frame rate, the resolution, and they basically analyze the shit out of every game.
Yeah,
and it's
they look at Switch games.
Yeah, the
PC
Switch
games.
too. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The best part about them is they're never wrong, and because they're never wrong, no one ever sues them.
Absolutely. That's totally not true because they're being sued right now.
What are they being sued for?
They're being sued basically for what? Defamation. basically, they said that a developer's game ran at a locked frame rate of 1080p, and it wasn't true. This game had dynamic resolution, and it was shown later that the developer was right, and they said that Digital Foundry basically slandered their game and hurt their bottom line.
What
and
game
basically,
was it?
I don't even remember. Red Out, yeah.
Out.
What was it? I'm sorry.
Red Out. It's like a driving game.
Red
Out. I think it's like a fake F-Zero.
Yeah, and
We're
so
gonna get sued now. By the way, wait.
Is it a Switch game? Was it one of the launch Switch games?
No, I think it's like PS4, Xbox thing. It's not
Yeah.
Fast RMX. No, it looks like Fast RMX.
So this is a new precedent. This has never happened before, and for the most part, Digital Foundry has been on point and accurate with their reporting of what games are running, their frame rates, patches, and updates and whatnot. And so my topic is, how do you guys think that Digital Foundry has affected video gaming and game development? Has it been a positive thing for the gaming industry and for consumers in general? I tend to think that it's a very positive thing for us as people who play video games, because we don't have the technology to heavily scrutinize a game. None of us can look at our televisions and immediately know what resolution we're playing at. We have to go to the details of the game, or go to Digital Foundry or some other source that has analytics. But through Digital Foundry, now we're seeing certain games underperform or not perform as well as their competitive counterparts. And due to a lot of their reporting and their analyzing, developers have come out in droves and released patch after patch after patch to improve unsightly aspects of their game. So I want to know what you guys think about Digital Foundry, barring the fact that they're actually being sued right now for improperly reporting on a game. Do you guys think that they're a positive force in gaming, and do you think they're helping out game development and consumers in general?
They're definitely helping out consumers. They're like the Consumer Reports of video games right now. It's like, a game comes out and Digital Foundry takes a look at it and says, okay, here's how it runs on the PS4. Here's how it runs on the PS4 Pro. Here's how it runs on the Xbox One, S, and X. And then here's how it runs on the PC. And then they'll compare all three versions. Also with hardware, the Xbox One X comes out. Here's how it runs Tomb Raider. Here's how it runs The Witcher. Here's how
that too.
Is it? They help you make a decision as a consumer, and like that kind of resource is super valuable. I really like the website.
They actually, when the Xbox One S first came out, they did in-depth comparison against the vanilla Xbox, and that was how I found out that the Xbox One S was slightly faster than the original, because they go through so much to figure out this information and give it to consumers. Gary and Wilson, how do you guys feel about Digital Foundry? Do you love it as much as me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan. I watch a lot of their work. They're obviously so respected in the industry that Microsoft invited them to debut the Xbox One X. So they were the guys that broke the news about the X's performance. They were able to showcase it, and I think they're so trusted as a resource for performance information that Microsoft knew if it came from them that people would believe them. It's not marketing hype if it comes from Digital Foundry. What I really like about them is, like you say, not so much what they do for game development, but for me as a consumer, I feel like DF or any site like that gives me a tangible, real world example of how my hardware is going to stack up if I change. Like, it was reassuring when I moved to the 8700K processor to see exactly which games multi-threading is going to make a big difference in, and where it's not. And how much, because Intel will tell you, oh, you'll get a 30% increase in games, but what does that really mean? That might mean one game on one scenario in a certain lab environment did that. I think Digital Foundry help you in terms of game development. I don't think they make any difference on it, if I'm completely honest with you. I think that I don't think devs are making changes for Digital Foundry's purposes, but I think Digital Foundry do help to drive a narrative that consumers get behind. So if consumers say this game runs like garbage, I've seen it on a Digital Foundry video. I think in a way that they're kind of driving developers to work in that way. But I think developers want their games to run well anyway. And,
someone in the comments section, Frog Doc, said this, and I 100% agree. He said, Digital Foundry is helping to keep game developers honest. You got to put out a quality product. You can't skew the numbers because you know your game is going to be scrutinized. You can't go under the resolution you say you're going to do. You can't say you're going to be a 60 frames per second locked game now because you know it's going to be heavily scrutinized. Basically, every AAA title that comes out in some way, shape, or form slides to Digital Foundry. And if the developer touts what this game is going to be able to do, Digital Foundry will be able to, immediately tell whether or not they're telling the truth. And so I agree that Digital Foundry is keeping these developers completely honest because up until the point where this website, this YouTube channel existed, there was not really anything in the mainstream quite like it that would scrutinize games and let you know exactly what was happening.
They have a tool set that they can use for both games and for hardware that seems very valuable to us as a consumer. And when they apply it and they report on their findings, I find it very interesting. I find it actually it influences my buying. There's other websites that do this. Gamers Nexus is another one that when I'm looking at PC hardware specifically, is they go in, they do a thorough, detailed analysis of something like a case, like a computer case can have huge implications to how well you spend $2,000 worth of components that go inside a $100 case. Depending on which case you bought, your performance may be drastically different because a case that looks beautiful may have no airflow and all your shit is getting hot all the time and running worse. So like sites like this, I think, are great. And in a world where I feel like the press is constantly being threatened, like I do find some value in the reporting of these things. And I don't know. I don't know, like what a lawsuit like this can do to Digital Foundry.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how, like if they reported something wrong, are they liable for that? I don't know. That might be a big problem for them.
Well, Digital Foundry
stuff's reported falsely all the time through all sorts of media outlets, and they don't get fucking sued. So I don't know why they should be. I don't know. I feel like that's just like an excuse for someone to go after them. You know what I mean? Like, Digital Foundry's shit on our game or whatever, so nobody bought it. Like,
but if they did falsely report, like if they did if they did falsely report that, like if I made a game and it ran at a steady 30 frames per second and Digital Foundry came out and said it runs at 20 frames per second and that cost me sales and it was erroneous, I'd be fucking pissed.
Could you prove that it cost you sales though? I mean, I'd never even heard of the game. I had never even heard of the game or the fact that they were being sued until today. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like, sure, I do. First of all, I do love Digital Foundry. I think it's awesome. Anything that educates a consumer is great. I don't have the means to test all this stuff. I don't have the money to buy 10 computers and see how everything runs or how all these games run on different systems. So it is cool that that information is readily available. But back to them being sued, like, stuff gets falsely reported all the time. I mean, and there used to be ad campaigns, and I know things are different, but I mean, people used to just straight up lie about other people's products. I know they're not competition and stuff like that, but where do you draw the line?
Pepsi, we're looking at you.
Yeah, Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Liars.
You know what I mean? Like where do you draw the line between
the Pepsi challenge was fucking bullshit from the get-go.
Listen, rigged.
Digital Foundry on their Twitter page, I mean, they've actually apologized for this.
Yeah.
So they said on their Twitter page on January 7th, apologies to 3-4 Big Things for missing Redout's dynamic scaler on Xbox One X. It scales from 1080p to 1944p and doesn't lock at 1080p. Our article has been updated, and we will be retesting the title on Monday.
I think as well, it wasn't just that they kind of misreported it, and we're getting quite in the minutiae here. It was more me having a dig at the topic that you put in, basically. But the fact is, the article they put in around Redout was a smear piece.
Yeah.
Like, I think the title was something along the lines of, why doesn't Redout run properly on the PS4 Pro or something like that? It was the whole point of the video was to say the developers have not done their job on this game.
You guys suck.
Yeah, it was pretty much that.
Let me ask you this then. If all the changes come to Destiny 2 and I don't like them and I put out a fucking review and I accidentally say, oh, we don't have an emote slot and we do have an emote slot, can Bungie fucking sue me? Like, no. So I don't understand why they're being like big deal. They made a mistake.
I think they could actually. I think if you put out opinion, then you're fine. But if you make a factual, or if you try and make a factual statement that is false, then I think then you can get in trouble.
Yeah, why isn't half the internet being sued then?
Well, because it's stupid. It's just fucking bad press to be suing people who review games, right? It doesn't make any sense. Like these guys who are suing Digital Foundries, they're not making any friends right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's why probably.
I hear you. That's fair.
And to play devil's advocate, which is normally Gary's point of view, I can kind of understand where they're coming from. If I worked hard on a game and I tried to optimize it for all platforms, and then a well-respected outlet puts out a factual piece, basically saying that it was much better on one than the other, and they skewed things and made things appear true that weren't, I think that would affect my bottom line. I think that would affect all our profits, at least on that platform, and I'd be highly upset. And I think it's well within their rights to do whatever they need to do, whatever they feel they need to do to be recouped for that lost compensation. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the dollar, man. And,
but how do you decide who was going to buy the game until they read that?
I
how
guess
do you decide how much money is compensated? Because you don't know. Like, you could have sold just as many copies.
Yeah, well,
if this came out. You know what I mean? Whether the article came out or not.
Well, I mean, there's already been precedent for this. People have sued for lost income for myriad reasons many times, and it's usually up to a judge to decide how much that lost income would be. And so
we're firmly butting our heads up against our knowledge ceiling here. Like,
do we have a knowledge ceiling on anything? I
don't think so.
I didn't pass the bar. I don't have any legal knowledge.
It's like an inverted.
We're just in a very strange time with technology right now. Like, there's a lot of growing pains and gray areas, and things like that. Like, everyone's making a big deal about Digital Foundries being sued for a mistake. Meanwhile, people in Hawaii got a missile alert the other day, and that wasn't even, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big fucking deal.
Do you know what? That wasn't, again, for people that weren't aware of that in the news, there was an iPhone alert, one of these, emergency messages that you have to get from your carrier, that went out to every citizen in Hawaii with an iPhone that said, emergency, a missile is incoming for Hawaii. Please seek shelter. This is not a drill. From the government, right?
You should be the voice for that. You should be the voice for that. So you're very calm.
That came out. Let me just correct it. 14 minutes later, not a text, an email went out to say, there's no missile. Please don't be alarmed.
Oh my God.
14 minutes.
38 minutes later, a text message went out to that effect. So you've got people in their bathtub in a pool of their own feces for 38 minutes.
Because I would have been in one.
Well, no, because that's shit
everywhere.
Again, when you read it, it said that families were advised that the safest place in the event of a missile strike is to lay in the bathtub with your family, because that's the most, reinforced and protected place. So there's been families for 38 fucking minutes laying in a bathtub.
That's
I just
awful,
don't understand how anyone's not getting sued for that shit. Apparently, long story short, again, they're not entirely sure what happened. I'm pretty sure Putin's got something to do with it. But anyway, someone pressed the wrong fucking button.
Yeah, that's what it came down to.
Someone pressed the wrong button on a console somewhere.
Yeah, do you see my point? Like someone can get sued for falsely reporting something, which I get when there's money involved. But then something like this happens, and it's just kind of oops. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I'm coming from. It's like there's bigger mistakes out there that need attention.
Right. I put my mind to this the other day, and I thought, has there been any benefits from that Hawaii thing? And I just wonder how many guys got laid as a result of that. They've just
there's going to be a baby boom in 9 months.
It's our last night alive, and I've been checking you out for months.
They've been sitting there with that coworker they've been looking at and going, we got 20 minminutes. Let's just do this right here, right now. That's it. Just go on.
Look, I'm gonna die. You're gonna die.
Do you think you just die with you think that'd work, or you just die with a black eye?
I wonder how many thank you letters have been sent.
You might die with like 8 black eyes before you find the one that you're.
Running out of time here,
right? We're gonna go for quantity, not quality here.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that sprung to my mind, is how many people got laid on the back of that message. That would have been my
first thing that came into my mind. I hate to be a downer, but man, that was just that's terrifying. That sucks. People had to go through that, man.
Oh yeah,
that sucks.
There was a Reddit thread I was reading today that it was a kid who confessed his undying love for his high school crush, and he was all excited because she reciprocated that love. She was like, "I love you too. I've always loved you," and then they found out it was not real, and she texted back saying, "I figured you were dying, so I just wanted to make you feel okay."
That's so fucked up, dude. That poor guy.
No,
Like,
he's talking about
a roller coaster of fucking emotion.
Shit.
I mean, he's probably all the better for it now. He can just move on with his life.
Gary's right, though. Had he been there, they might have been like, "Hey, we got 20 minutes." You know what I mean? It might have been.
I think she might not have got laid. I mean, it depends what year they're in high school, but I'm pretty sure he could have snuck a hand job out of that one, at least.
Right? You're a little old-fashioned.
I mean,
Guy
with a boner and a black eye. That's horrible.
That's how I go to bed every night. I get drunk. A boner and a black eye.
Time to go to sleep. What? That's how she puts you down. That's your Tylenol PM. What?
I fucking left hook on that Mrs. Rabbit, man. It's nasty.
And for those wondering, I think that's going to be the title of this episode. A boner and a black eye. Look for it on iTunes.
And that is how Digital Foundry are affecting the future of game development.
I planned it like this, guys. It was all the plan.
There, I'm sorry. I kind of threw one into outfield there. I apologize.
Should we move on to the Switch factor, the direct dust off? Who saw that? I fucking love the Switch. It's so good.
I didn't see it.
Too.
So Nintendo, everyone was like, Nintendo were top world-class trolls on this one. So everyone was hyping it up. The new Direct for January was going to be like the second E3 for Nintendo. Like people were like, oh, it's going to be like Smash. We're going to see Pokemon footage, probably Metroid Prime, definitely all this. Like, everyone was getting really hype about it and saying it's going to happen on the 11th. So Nintendo, all the way in the lead up to it, knew people were expecting it. They started like trolling. They put on like the Nintendo Odyssey parrot, the secret parrot who's like, squawk, squawk, got a secret. Not going to tell you about it. Then they just posted like random pictures, like a little hot dog guy. They posted a picture of that on their Twitter. Then they posted a picture of Chibi Robo being on fire and nothing else. And people were like trying to work out, is this like cryptic clues? And no, it was just Nintendo straight trolling. And then on the 11th, they didn't announce it. They just dropped a Nintendo Direct Mini, which has people kind of disappointed because they were expecting this big bang Direct, which Nintendo never promised them. Let's be honest. This was just Reddit circle jerking themselves into a frenzy. But anyway, it being a mini, we haven't got the announcements that we want. And the reason I wanted to talk about it today, I didn't want to go down the list of games sequentially, but Nintendo needs to sell 20 million Switches. Are they going to do it with this half one, 2018? Because there's some good names on there, but there's not the heavy hitters.
Why do they have to sell 20 million?
Because that's what they said they were going to do, wasn't it? They were going to do another 10. So they were going to sell 20 million by the end of this year.
Oh, by the
end of this year. But this goes right the way up to May. So this is their everything before E3.
Okay.
We've got, I'm just going to list the names off, and then if there's anything here that piques your interest, say it. World Ends With You. Remake of the DS game. Pokken Tournament DX DLC. They're adding more Pokemons. Good times. Kirby Star Allies got a release date. Dragon Quest Builder's got a demo.
Ooh, yeah, I want to talk about that.
I heard that's phenomenal.
It's basically like a third-person Minecraft set in the Dragon Quest
world,
universe. Really? Yeah, and you're not a hero for once. So you don't just wake up and you're like, oh, you're the hero and blah, blah, blah. You find out that a lot of these people lost their ability to be creative. They don't know how to be creative anymore.
Oh, so it's like the Lego movie?
Kind of, yeah.
I was thinking more like Footloose.
Just blew my mind.
Yeah.
You're Kevin Bacon, Footloose. You got to teach them to be creative once more in a small town.
Exactly.
You teach them with dance.
Yeah. So it's kind of like
Kenny
Dirty
fucking
Dancing.
Loggins.
Yeah. It's kind of like Dirty Dancing.
Highway to the Danger
I thought it looked really cool because, I mean, like, there are elements of it where you're like, damn, they definitely pulled that from Minecraft. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I fucking love Minecraft, dude.
This game has been out for a while, though. Did it come out on the Wii, or what was it been out on? Because it's been really a popular game.
Vita, PS4? I think, as well.
Okay.
This is just them moving it. The Vita, mate.
So the demo is out now. We can all try it.
Yeah,
believe so.
Is it got multiplayer like Minecraft does?
Ooh, I don't know. That's one thing I didn't look into, but it's essentially a third-person Minecraft set in that universe, and it looks like it's got more RPG elements than Minecraft.
We need to be the first team to ever do this. We can set a new precedent and play a Switch game online together. I don't think anyone's ever done it.
A million times, yes. We've got to do that.
I don't think that's physically possible.
Shit.
Need a flux capacitor and like some.
Yeah.
Look, if we're all friend codes
Game
and we
link
tune
cables.
Yeah.
we'd like to tune in our FM radios to a certain
Game Boy
frequency,
links.
we'll be fine. Long wave. We need like the breaker radios. So Dragon Quest Builders, Hyrule Warriors Ultimate Edition, effectively support of the
That's
3DS.
like the Dynasty Warriors with Zelda in it.
The 3DS version and the Wii U version, all the content, everything they released in a nice bundle with some extra bits ported. It's good. It's what it is. Mario Tennis Aces this time with a big story mode.
I love
Story mode.
Mario Tennis games. I haven't played a Mario Tennis game since that on Super? No, it was on Nintendo 64.
64.
Oh my god, Mario Tennis and Mario Golf are amazing games. They were both really fun.
It's got a feature-length single-player campaign, which isn't just play tennis against a load of enemies. It's an actual RPG story that you go and solve things through tennis. Yeah, watch the trailer. It's really cool.
And it's coming in the spring?
Spring.
Oh, wow.
All of this is coming out before May, or in May. Ease 8. Again, if you're into that, it's basically like Xenoblade.
There hasn't been a good Ease since Ease 3, Second Story.
Ease 3, backdoor Ease only.
The ones on was that on PS1? Those on PS1, the original
Ease 3, Break Check Edition.
No, Break Check.
Break job. Sorry.
The break job.
They're good. If you like Xenoblade Chronicles, you'll like this. It's already out on the Vita.
Just
and
ease it in there.
Ease 8, no lube.
Yeah, just ease it in there.
Damn.
Mario Odyssey, this is worth talking about. Did you see the competitive hide the balloon mode, which sounds like more dirty filth?
Oh, I like the sound of this.
Yeah.
It's called Hide It mode with Luigi. Poor Luigi. It's effectively speedrunning, hide and seek speedrunning. It's like the perfect stream game. It's designed for streamers. So let's set the scene. You and Wilson play Hide It online.
Yeah, I'm willing to play some Hide It with Wilson.
Yeah, as long as I'm willing to provide it, not hide it.
So one of you plays as Luigi. You're hiding. So you've got 30 seconds on all of the maps that are available in Mario Odyssey. They just
the full map.
The map. So you've got 30 seconds to find locations on that map. You've got to plant 5 balloons in 30 seconds on that map. And then the person who finds them has got 30 seconds to find your 5 balloons. So it's how far can you get? Where are the sneaky places you can find them? And it's just built for speedrunning.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Good.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
So that's that. And obviously some skins and whatever is there. But that there itself, I think, is a great way to bring people back to the game.
I think I would like that better than the regular game.
Shut up, Briar.
Hide the balloon.
Hide the balloon.
Well,
that sounds like fun.
Mario Odyssey for you Americans has got complex movement mechanics. So if you know how to move the little guy, you can get him to places that other people might not be able to in that time.
Yeah.
So I think
maybe the best one is like hide something in plain sight that's really hard to get to. Right?
Just hide it right behind them when they start, so they go forward.
You know people are going to do that shit.
Yeah.
You got SNK Heroines, which is effective. It looks like Dead or Alive kind of thing. It looks a bit ass, to be honest, as a beat 'em up.
No, titty and ass everywhere.
Yeah.
Nothing but the Dead or Alive chicks fighting.
More Mario Rabbids DLC. They're bringing Donkey Kong into it. Donkey Kong's going to be in there, and he brings a whole new load of abilities. That game is getting supported so much. It's like The Division or of like Ubisoft.
Do this Ubisoft game.
Really?
They just keep supporting games.
Is
forever.
it a good game?
Yeah.
It's XCOM with Mario, and they're putting more and more stuff into it. You've got competitive multiplayer, cooperative multiplayer as well. A really difficult campaign. They added expert mode, and they're now adding another character.
Gary, have you ever heard XCOM called UFO?
There's UFO Declassified or something. There's another one. That was
somebody was talking about UFO Enemy Unknown in chat the other day. I'm like, the second half of that title sounds so familiar. And then I guess it's called XCOM
UFO
in
Defense.
some regions. And
it's called
UFO.
XCOM UFO Defense.
Yeah, it's a different spin-off game for the PS3, I think, or might be PS4. But we've got that. We've got Payday 2 has got a date. It's Payday 2, but we know it's coming Feb. Faye and Celeste 2 indies. We can move on from that. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is getting a port. That is big because that game was super good and super hard, and no one played it because it was on the Wii U. Like 4 people owned that console.
Me and Sam.
I never played it, so yeah,
it's good. I liked it.
But what they've done is because the game is super fucking tough and it's not the demographic of Nintendo, they've added Surfer Kong. There's like a Hawaiian Donkey Kong who's like basically playing the game in God mode. Like you can surf on the water so you can never die. He can like hover and jump and do stuff. So it's like
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Anyone can enjoy it.
How pathetic.
I like being
cool.
God mode.
And then the headline release, which actually isn't exclusive.
This is insane.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive. And they do have the inferior version, but it's the first time that Dark Souls is going to be playable on a portable. You get Dark Souls remastered with all the DLC.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can't wait.
I'm ready for that.
On a Switch.
I hope that game succeeds wildly too, because what I want is for the Nintendo platform, the Nintendo Switch, to start getting third-party development and not for it to be a risky business like it was for the Wii U, hell, for the GameCube. Like, I'd like to see people like really developers really embracing that console. So if Dark Souls sells, great, that'd be amazing.
I kind of piggyback
on a Switch.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of piggyback what you said the other day, Briar, about people breaking their Switch because that game. That's how they're gonna move 10 million more units.
That's right.
Right
That's
there.
That was beautiful, Wilson. That was beautiful.
Right there.
Well thought out.
Yeah, treating that thing like a fucking frisbee, throwing it out the window, and skipping it across the lake.
Briar goes, ooh, you have to resist just fucking throwing that thing and fucking because it's just so small and it could be out of your face in an instant.
Yeah.
Just whoosh.
You know, the secret news there as well, which came out of Japan, is Japan have announced a collector's edition Dark Souls trilogy pack for the PS4, but there's placeholders for it on the Xbox, PC, and Switch as well. So
what?
Yeah, Japan, you can get it. It's really nice. It's got like a bonfire and a night bookend and a load of other cool shit with it. So all Dark Souls games are going to be on the PS4. It's also 60 frames on Xbox, PC for the first time 60 frames because that was a 30 frame lock game. The Prepare to Die edition
on the Xbox One X as well.
Yeah, so the PS4, Xbox One X, PC 60 frames. Switch is going to be 30, but it's portable, so it's fucking great. So do we think that lineup is enough to keep the momentum going? And this isn't everything that's coming out, by the way. There's still other shit.
Hell yeah.
You know, we've got Lost Sphere and other things there that are already coming out, and Wolfenstein 2.
I feel like it needs a heavy hitter. It needs one more. Like it needs like one of the big Nintendo ones, doesn't it?
What about Yoshi? Kong? We haven't heard about him yet, but it might be second half of the year, Yoshi. And
actual Pokemon game on console, man. Like
they're probably building that right now. That's going to take some time, man.
They could announce that at E3, and I bet it's for 2019. I bet it sells consoles today.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that
I'm excited about this lineup, Gary.
The Switch, for me, the little fucking magic of that game is I play things on the Switch that I would not play anywhere else. And I don't know if anyone else has had that. Like, you're just on the Switch eShop, and because it's in your hand, it's a portable more than a console. You're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll try that game. Like, you know what game I've been addicted to in bed? This is like hide the balloon again. You know, it's not that.
Damn, I'm excited.
Game that I've been playing in bed. I'm such a fucking nerd. Letter Quest Remastered. Have you guys played that?
No.
So fucking good. It's like Hangman. You play a little Grim Reaper, and you got to walk along, and then you get like a checkerboard of like 3x6 letters, like 18 letters, and you've got to like score points by like getting the most complex word to beat up the little enemy, the creature that you're trying to kill. You know, and you get points for stuff like that. It's like an RPG.
Oh, really?
Like Scrabble, or Hangman, as an RPG. I'd never play that anywhere else, but it's on the Switch, and I play it like every night before I go to sleep. It's like so unique.
Last year Switch had Zelda and Mario. Those are system-selling fucking games.
Sure are.
I don't see that game on this list.
I don't know, Briar. Donkey Kong Country might.
It's a game that came out last generation. It's a remake.
They listened to.
Yeah, but nobody played it.
If they listened to Revolver live, they would have heard the suggestion of Virtual Console with online play. That would have probably moved some stuff.
That's something else to say. They have not mentioned Virtual Console here. However, that could be a direct of its own. You know, why would you cram your Virtual Console into this? Yeah. You know, you could just drop something in March and say, Virtual Console guys, please be excited. And then, like, you know, you've got hype again. I mean, this isn't all of the year, bear in mind. This is
this is the first half of the year. Yeah. I mean, I'm buying Mario Tennis. Like, I almost don't even need to know anything more about that. I'm just buying it. But I don't see a Mario or a Zelda here.
But I think more so than anything else, Briar, there's something here for everybody. There's a game here for the hardcore. There's a fighting game. There's an adventure game.
Yeah,
there's a shooter.
There's games for everybody who already owns one, but I don't see any system sellers. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Got
like Dark Souls Remastered. That's a remastered game. Like, is that selling you a Switch that you can play Dark Souls on it? You've been able to play that on PS3. You've been able to play that on PS3, PC. It's coming out on PS4. It's coming out for the console you already own. Like, you don't need to buy a new console to play that. It's not an exclusive. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze came out for the Wii U. Payday 2, that game's been around for like 10 years. SNK Heroines Tag Team, that's a pretty niche title right there. Ease is probably big in Japan. I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about it in America, to be honest. Maybe I'm just out of loop on Japanese role-playing games at this place.
That particular game is really highly reviewed on the PS4 and Vita. Like, it is a good game if you're into that. And if you played Xenoblade Chronicles, it was out on the PS4 and Vita. Same as like Lost Sphere is going to be another big JRPG to follow up Setsuna.
I mean, I've seen a lot of ports. Hyrule Warriors is a port. Dragon Quest is a port. Mario Tennis, Kirby Star Allies. I don't think that's a port, right?
No.
The Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, I don't see an update selling consoles again.
I don't know, man. If that Dragon Quest game can even remotely scratch like a Minecraft itch, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just that little, just even remotely scratch it. And because I can tell you right now, if you're not playing on PC, you're bored with Minecraft. Sure, you might be building some awesome stuff, but you would love some new content. You know what I mean? And if it's even remotely close to it, and there's adventuring and like, excuse me, you know, like even like side quests and items to go get and farm for. I mean, it resembles Minecraft a lot. Like even like the squares that you're cutting out dirt or wood, or you find a patch of like rubies or diamonds or something. It's very similar. So, dude, I mean, Minecraft. Dude, that game is a lot of fun, but like unless you're playing it on PC, there's just not a whole lot to really do anymore. So
this list almost just reminds me of 2018 in general. It's like 2017 is just so fucking chock full of amazing games.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm just not seeing it for 2018 yet. Like there's a couple things I'm really looking forward to. Far Cry, I think is coming out this year.
Yeah,
that I'm looking forward to. Did Red Dead Redemption get pushed? It got pushed to March 2019.
Redemption 2 is coming out this year.
It's definitely coming out this year.
It's like I hope it didn't get pushed. I heard rumors that it did, but nothing credible that I could find. I'll look real quick.
Mean, the thing about the Switch is you have got other things, like I was saying there. You've got like Owlboy, Bayonetta 1, 2, 3, the 1 and 2 ports, obviously 3 coming out. Hollow Knight, things that I think people can play on other consoles. The fact that Switch is portable gives it a unique selling point and lets it go toe-to-toe against another port. You know, I could play Owlboy on the PC on Steam, or I can play Owlboy on a handheld. I'm going to play it on a handheld straight away. No question.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, they're not done for the year. This isn't the full list for the year.
Oh, no.
I don't think there's any question that they're going to sell another 10 million of those things. I mean, based on last year's lineup, plus new games coming out, and if they do release a virtual console and their online service finally goes live, I don't think there's any doubt they're selling another 10 million of those things. But this list isn't super exciting to me personally.
I hear you.
I mean, that's the sentiment. That's why I wanted to share it, is because people were super hyped for it, and then it came out, and people were like, "It's cool, but it's not. It's not what we wanted. It's not Smash. It's not Pokemon. It's not." Metroid.
I think if that stuff's coming, I think they'll announce it later this year. It's gonna be Those are holiday games, right?
Smash is definitely going to come this year. I think it has to.
That's going to be
too late
a remaster of the Wii U, though, right?
That's all they need.
Not. Hopefully, it should be a new. No, it should be a new one, man.
I mean, I think.
You think so?
Smash, though,
yeah.
I think Smash could take because if
100%.
you remember, Smash on the 3DS and Smash on the Wii U had different maps. They were like unique. Like the 3DS maps and the Wii U maps were unique. If you did what they're doing with Hyrule Warriors, you did an Ultimate Edition with all of the DLC characters, which they added like 25 characters on top of the base game. All the DLC characters, the maps from the 3DS, the maps from the Wii U, and added more content and gave it a proper multiplayer. I think you've got a game there.
What they did with Splatoon is they actually just changed some things and
called
added more maps. Yeah, they called it a sequel. They could do something like that. I mean, they just did it with Splatoon, right?
That's the dream right there.
It's true, though.
Jeez. That's the dream.
I mean, Bungie took some things away and put a 2 in front of the game.
God.
It happens.
They forgot to put the little dash, the minus sign. It's Destiny minus 2 or 3 things that you used to like.
It's great. Much that. No, I mean, I'll move on from the Switch now. The other thing that I think that I've got some weird obsession with is, I buy like every Joy-Con and unique controllers. On like the PS4, the Xbox, PC peripherals, I've got no compulsion to buy limited edition ones. Like if they release a controller that's limited edition, I don't feel like I've got to have this. I don't feel it adds anything to the unit. But they're so fucking genius. The fact that the Switch, the Joy-Cons are part of the unit, just putting green ones on it makes the whole thing feel and look different. Putting red ones on it, putting blue things on it. Like,
what if they start releasing like different color Switch consoles?
I think that I want the console to stay the same. I think the console. It's like putting on different color condoms, Gary. It's exciting and it's new every time. But I think that the console needs to stay the color it is.
Ones I buy, they only come in certain colors. It's not cost effective for them to make that proportion in multi-colors. I'm the only customer.
We got one guy.
One guy. It's not bagadicks.com. They don't just make a mold of one of the dicks and send you that mold, do they, Gary?
Yeah, pretty much. I was the life model for those candies.
That's a pretty horrible.
That's why I've got them as a sponsor. I get a royalty for every dick consumed.
Oh my God!
Correct.
Oh my goodness, that's something I actually need to do. I need to invest in some more Joy-Cons, and I need to invest in that Pro controller because these
Pro controller. You don't have a Pro controller?
No.
Oh
I had no need
controller.
for it.
That Pro controller, I think, is one of my favorite controllers ever made.
It's good.
It's that good. It
really?
Is real good.
The only negative of it is the triggers. ZR and whatever RR, fucking I don't know what they are. They're not. They're analog. Or is it digital? Whatever the fuck they are.
They're
either on or
buttons,
off.
not analog like pulls. So like for a racing game, that'd probably be a negative. But for like every other game where you just want a fucking button there, it's actually better. Like for a shooter, for instance, I think it's better because you have a click instead of like a push, like a long squeeze. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I like
more about the long squeeze.
I don't like the long squeeze.
I don't get enough of it in the rest of my life, so I need it in the controller.
I hadn't bought one, Briar, because the games I've been playing, they worked fine with the Joy-Cons, but I know that I'm going to be investing in some other types of games.
It's a really good controller. You can get it to work with PC, too.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that
it lasts about 45 hours or some shit? Like, it's really good.
There are some people out there who prefer the Xbox One controller over the PlayStation 4 controller.
Those people are idiots.
Well, Gary, he just called you an idiot, Gary. It's your first time hearing it.
I told you, I have tiny homunculus hands. It's if you have, like, human adult male size hands, then the Xbox One controller is awful. But if you have small childlike elven fingers, it's perfect.
There's a company called Hori that's making a PS4 controller that looks exactly like the Xbox One controller. I've been checking this thing out since yesterday. I think I want to buy it. It looks so.
Why would you want that?
Because I'm different, Briar. Shit, can I just be me? Fuck.
No. The Xbox One controller is not a good controller.
I love the Xbox One controller. Sorry.
The Xbox 360 controller was the perfect controller, and they went and fucked it up.
I like the Xbox One controller. I think
they Destiny 2'd the Xbox 360 controller.
Is that a term now?
You nailed it, Briar. You nailed it.
And you fucking Destiny 2'd it.
They Destiny 2'd the 360 controller. Shit. They sure did. But this PS4 controller that looks like the Xbox One it's so unique and cool to me with the touchpad on it. I think I'm gonna grab it. It'll be available,
I'm
I
looking
believe,
at it right
next
now,
week.
man. It does look.
It looks fucking awesome.
Pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie.
I want the Duke controller. They're re-releasing the Duke. That's got my name all over it.
Here's my thing with PlayStation versus Xbox controllers. I've gone through about 5, 6 of the PlayStation controllers.
Yeah.
This is my original Xbox 360 controller that still works. Now listen, very carefully, listen. Oh, you hear that crunchy Y button? You hear that? That's how old that is.
That's how good.
And it still works. This is back when I used to throw this thing, and it still works. Well, I don't even throw these anymore, and they just fucking wear out.
The
so
360 controller is best of all time. I'm telling you.
My Xbox One controllers, Briar. First of all, the battery pack in it is fucking amazing. I charge it like once a year.
Yeah, it's amazing how long it lasts when you never fucking play your Xbox One.
But let me just say this, okay? The controller, it's never given me any issue. I got 5 PS4s.
These are the fucking batteries that came with it.
They're not even name brand. They're like
the off-brand ones.
Yeah.
Panatronic? What the hell is this?
Yeah.
I thought they made headsets.
What's Buracell?
I think we lost Beasley. Beasley hung up on us.
I couldn't handle it, man. Couldn't handle the controller debate.
How you gonna talk? How you gonna talk shit about the Xbox One X controller?
I'm with you though. I like the durability of it. I don't like the feel of it, but the fact that it lasts months longer, if not years longer, is
But
so as long as this new one is more quality.
Do you have a controller? Looks like a little pig. Look at that. There you go. A little Minecraft pig.
That's actually pretty cute.
It's cute. Look at him.
That's yours, not the ladies, right?
That is mine. I went for the pink, and it's got a little tail on the back. Look at that. How cute.
My goodness.
Look at it.
It's got a curly Q on the back.
Beautiful. So I feel like a princess when I play Xbox.
That's fantastic.
So, oh yeah, Brian, that was the worst time to lose video, wasn't it? No one except you saw the curly little pig controller.
Can't see it.
If you hang it up way high, like above your foot, no, a little lower. There it is, curly little pig. I don't know if Beasley's coming back or not, so I'm not going to change the video yet.
It's all good.
I think it'd be a perfect time to go over to first-time streamer tips and tricks. It's all this is happening on the fly. Whoa, that transition.
I know.
Yo, don't use Wi-Fi. Tip number 1.
Yeah, no doubt. So a lot of people, and I see this all over the place, whether it's in Briar's chat, Tefties, Broman, Goth, anyone. A lot of people want to know how they can get into streaming and what are some tips and tricks that can give them a bit of an edge to start out with. And the first thing I'd recommend, if you want to start streaming, is actually do it. Don't be like me and talk about it all the time and not do it. But first thing to start with is like feeling like if you're focused on views and stuff like that right away, you're going to have an awful time. Like the first thing you need to do is get used to talking to yourself and being entertaining in the stream. People don't want to join a stream and see people not talking, not having fun. Because if you're not having fun, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people in your chat that aren't going to have fun. You know, you don't need the biggest, baddest equipment. You know what I mean? You start out, your PlayStation has everything you need to get started right away. There's a lot of people that got started that had hundreds of viewers, you know. KJ Hovey back in the D1 days, he used his PlayStation for the longest time, and he was really, really successful at it, you know. So you don't need to get the biggest, baddest equipment. You don't need the best camera, mic, green screen, you know, a PC even. You can do it straight from your console. You know, like, let's see here. Like I said, use your console before buying an expensive PC. Grow into your setup. You know, you don't have to have top of the line equipment at first. Gary Diaz, you know, Gary's guilty of this.
Why don't you
go through some of the stuff that you've purchased before you even fired up the stream?
Oh, I mean, I've got like a professional streamer's equipment, and I have never, ever streamed. I still hold that as my record. I've never done the inaugural stream. I've recorded a couple of plays, but I've never actually gone on there. So no, I've made the ultimate mistake of having like, two PC setup, mixer, stream deck, voice modulator, everything that you could possibly want for a stream without actually streaming. I dream about it at night. I stream vicariously through my own fantasies. It's more of a hobby. I mean, like I'd say, the only tips I could give if we're gonna, before we start fucking around and telling you to kind of like just get your nipples out, is there he is, perfect timing. I say think
Speaking
about
of nipples.
Yeah, I heard nipples. I'm back.
we're going into first time streamer tips.
Someone say
basically.
nipples. I'm back.
Look, I don't know what happened. My apologies. My internet completely just was gone. I don't know what happened. Just for a few
Did
seconds.
somebody turn the microwave on?
No, they're using the stovetop. God damn it, Briar.
And
My
Wi-Fi
sincerest
hit you
apologies.
at times.
I walked up there and said, "What the hell's going on?" And my wife turned around. She was making a burger. She said, "I don't know." I said, "Fuck."
I don't know. We moved on to the first time streamer tips and tricks. So
Yeah.
we're just kind of do that a little bit right now. Briar, when you first started streaming, what was your setup like day one?
My setup, day one, there was 2 day ones. There was the day one where I just said, "What's this Twitch thing?" and fired up Trials Fusion and just started playing Trials Fusion on Twitch for 0 viewers. And then the second time I fired up a stream was in front of 400 to 500 people on Planet Destiny. So it was kind of a high stress moment for me.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
But I will say that I did start streaming on Planet Destiny with a PS4. And people didn't care. People didn't give a shit. The only person who had a problem with the quality of my stream was the guy who ran Planet Destiny. Which made me actually switch over to streaming using a Mac, and I actually used the Mac. I loaded Windows onto a Mac, so I had to boot my Macintosh with Windows on it so I could run OBS and then use that to stream, and that was a nightmare. But like my path to streaming has been, kind of a weird one. It's not the normal path. But from what I've watched other people do, it doesn't matter what equipment you have or how good your webcam is. The voice quality, I think, to some extent, does make a difference. Like, you want to have at least, I would say, a USB microphone. But it's really about the content that you're providing. You watch Real Crafty go from like 0 viewers to the top of the directory. That's not because he's got a good microphone or good equipment. It's because he's entertaining and he's fun to watch and he makes amazing plays. The same goes with half a dozen other guys that I see in the Destiny directory all the time, or used to anyway.
Right.
So it's not about equipment. It's about personality. It's about entertaining. It's about gameplay. Like, if you can take it from a bunch of different directions. Like, maybe you got a personality that people are really drawn to. Maybe you got, you're doing some gameplay on a different level than everybody else is. But I would caution anybody to getting into streaming if they see it as a way to make money. Because if it is going to happen, it's going to take years. And the chances are it's not going to happen. It's going to be a really frustrating endeavor if that's what your motivation is in doing it. Like, it's because you're always going to be looking at numbers. You're always going to be like, trying to push yourself to do something that you don't really want to be doing. If your motivation is to try and form a community and like make some friends, like, I don't know if there's a better way of doing it. Like, it's a really fun thing to do, is to, basically like become part of the Twitch community and to like, use those connections to make friends or to make friends. Basically, it's just a fun fucking thing to be doing. Like, it's one of the reasons that I spend so much more time on Twitch now than I do on YouTube, is because it's a really fun place to be. It feels like a community. It feels like it feels like a shared experience. And if you're looking at it from like a purely financial thing, I think it's going to be really frustrating. If you're looking for it to be part of the community, I think it can be really rewarding.
I feel like with Twitch as well, like remuneration perspective and financial compensation, I think as well the issue is spot on, Briar. Some people see it as a way to, I can just play games and get paid.
Yeah, it's not really like that though.
And the issue is as well, even if you get to a position where you feel like you're there, it's not like a career where you're always going to earn that money day in, day out. Because what I've seen with the Destiny 1 directory is how fucking volatile that is. That's like one game release or one patch away from your just income stream being savaged. Like people that were pulling great numbers in Destiny 1, you see them now and they're still doing all right. I'm not disparaging anyone's career, but there's been a significant shift in directory, viewer counts, sub counts, etc. as a result of that. And that's not a discredit on these people. Are still putting on a great show. They're still entertaining people to watch. They're still good. But just through complete sheer, misfortune, their income stream has been cut. So I'd also caution people that see it as, I'm now earning, $500 a month. I can now quit my job. Like, no, unless you're in a position where if it all goes wrong, you can be financially supported. That's something else that, I didn't realize the volatility of it, even more so than YouTube and their algorithm changes. Like Twitch you're really at the mercy of the audience that you have and the favor they have with that game that you devote yourself to, unless you're a variety streamer.
Yeah, I think you nailed it too. Like the gaming community, our opinions and feelings change like the wind. You know what I mean? 1 month we're happy about a game or we're stoked, and then we realize it doesn't have any end game, and all of a sudden it's dead game. You know what I mean? Like, and people come to your chat and dead game. And the advice that I could give for that is try to be a little bit versatile with your stream. Don't be afraid to be a variety streamer. You know what I mean? Because if you're entertaining, it doesn't really matter what you're playing. Like, sure, like if you're entertaining and you got started on Destiny, you're obviously going to pull more numbers on Destiny. But if you branch out and try other games, if you're interesting, people are going to watch you no matter what you're playing. And this is personal opinion. I've been seeing it a lot lately. Don't start your stream as a service stream, because once that service is no longer required, you're going to see a huge dip in your numbers. And I see this a lot with Trials of the 9 carries. And these guys will pull 100 viewers, no problem, on the weekend. But as soon as Trials is gone, they're back down into the 10, 15 range.
I don't know, man. I challenge that, right? Because if you look at the IRL directory right now, there is a lot of streamers doing squats for subs. You get 10 subs and they just sit there and do some squats. That's a service that's never going anywhere, man. That's a service for life.
Okay, like in-game service, like Trials carries or account recoveries. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like that's cool. I'm not looking down on that. That's cool if you want to do that. I'm just saying that I see it a lot, and I have a lot of friends who do it, and I hear their complaints about how they don't want to be a service stream anymore.
Do any of your friends do squats for subs though?
No, but they probably should. I'm gonna say
that. I would say that also would qualify as a service stream.
It would. It would. I saw a guy. What was the guy's,
one?
What was it? Josh OG. That guy. I saw him. He was rolling blunts for donations the other day.
Yeah,
I'm like, what a job!
What a fucking all-star!
When you wake up and your content is rolling blunts, like,
yeah,
the dream.
Let's get it done, man. Where's Josh OG hang out? What directory is he in, man?
Did you see the? I'm not going to publicize.
Yeah, I really just smokes weed all day. That's what he does.
Did you see the
76
dude?
says I'll pole dance for subs. Now we're talking. Consider it
the
done.
Dude that I tweeted out I tweeted out a screen grab of him. I don't know the guy's name. I didn't put it in the clip. But the guy was just sitting there with his top off, just like a middle-aged guy.
I saw that. That was hilarious.
But
TV streamer.
Man, dude.
He had a bottle of Hennessy covering the left nipple and a glass covering the right. It was just a dude, just titties out, full-on man breast.
Oh, it was awesome. It was amazing.
Fortnite. It was one of the best things. That is the ultimate clickbait. And I think talking about that clickbaiting, I'd say as someone who doesn't stream, but someone who watches content a lot and watches streamers, we've said it before, think about why people would want to watch you. And if it's gameplay, you're like, I'm really good at this game. News, you're not as good as you think you are. There's a lot of people better than you. If I want to go and watch someone that plays good games, I could immediately list off the top 5 people in the world and watch with the 30,000 other people in their stream, watch these people that are the best in the game at doing it. So I think playing a game because you're skilled, unless you're the only person playing that game or you are the best in the game, is also probably a bit of a rabbit hole to be chasing. You know, really have to think about quality entertainment that isn't.
Not everybody can be a Briar Rabbit, you know.
No.
Yeah, you got that right. Shit.
I mean, I come to Briar's stream for that gameplay.
Right.
And for the squats.
And for the squats.
And for the squats.
Power squats. Absolutely.
I'd also suggest as well, this is, again, looking at the directory from the outside, I suggest Mixer, if you can, because Twitch is fucking saturated.
That's not a bad point. Facebook, I would suggest, too. I mean, I think Facebook is Facebook is a growth opportunity because there are billions of people on fucking Facebook, and they're getting into streaming, and they're promoting it, and there's nobody fucking streaming on Facebook. So, like, I would highly recommend Facebook. But Mixer too, yeah, fucking A, man. Like, why go to the place that's already fucking saturated? You can have a brand new audience. The one thing I will say though is it's very difficult to move an audience from one platform to another. Like, very difficult.
Someone in chat, awesome question, and I wanted to address this. Question here: is there a moment when you streamers felt like a slave to streaming or of a unique game to stream? I can speak to this personally. I was really heavy into streaming for a while when I first started. I was doing 6-7 days a week, 4 to 8 hours a night after work. It was consuming my time, and I was having a really good time doing it. And it started to creep into my work time. So I started leaving work a little earlier to get home to stream or relax a little bit before. So I had time to relax. And for the longest time, like, I was a Destiny 1 PvP streamer. I was always doing PvP, always doing trials, trying to help out who I could. My friends were helping me help people. And we were pretty successful at it for a while. And it did get to the points where sometimes I'd come home and I'd be like, these people are expecting me to stream, but I don't want to. And then I wouldn't stream.
Slave
and then
for the trade.
The longer you go without streaming, the harder it gets to press that live button again, dude. Yeah. And it's not because people won't come back, because your friends will come back. If you genuinely made friends, they'll stop in and say, hey, it's a mental thing. And you can become a slave to a certain game where you feel like that is where you are at your peak performance, but you may not be enjoying the game so much, but you still are kind of hiding it to where you're being entertaining for your stream. I would say that's extremely unhealthy, personally. If you can't deny the way you feel. If you're not enjoying a game, there's a good chance your viewers are going to see it, and it's just not good for your overall health. I stopped streaming because, like I said, it was starting to cut into work, and there was some nights I came home and I'm like, some people are expecting me to stream, and I just don't want to, and I don't like letting people down like that. I don't like letting myself down like that, but let alone, a few people who, I had people message me on Twitter, hey, it's 8:00. Where the fuck's the stream? And I'm like, shit, man, I was just gonna like sit on the back porch and have a few beers tonight. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll go fucking go to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And it's really important, man. If you're not happy doing it, then that's it. Yeah. So, like, if I didn't love my job of, working with molten glass for a living, like, I wouldn't do it. If it sucked and it was hard and I just hated it, like, I wouldn't keep doing it.
Awesome
success follows passion, in my opinion. Yep. If you're extremely passionate about something, there is a good chance that somewhere down the line you could become financially successful off of it. You may not. You may just make a little bit, of money, but as long as you're passionate about it, good things will come eventually.
That means
when do I start getting paid for sex then?
If you get into it because it's fun, you're never going to leave having felt like you failed, right? If you get into it because you want it to be a financial success, then 99.9% chance you're going to leave having failed. Mm-hmm. And it could ruin your Twitch experience overall. Like, you may feel like I've seen people saying, like, hey, like, I don't like Twitch anymore because, I stopped streaming and now it doesn't feel the same. Like, it reminds me of my failure, and that sucks,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really rough.
Yeah, I've had days, honestly, Wilson, where I've like it's it's been time to stream, and I'm like, man, I could just go for fucking doing nothing instead. But at the same time, it's like once I hit go live and everybody starts fucking yucking it up in chat, like it almost
they bring you back.
Kicks in.
I'll tell you what. Honestly, there's been days where I've been kind of like, you're kind of feeling blue, you're feeling mopey. Maybe I should stream. I bet it'll improve my mood.
Yeah.
Because you get these fucking jokers in here. You get these jokers in here. Fucking
yeah. You get Gary Diaz talking about the Louisiana Purchase with chili cones.
It happens.
Great day.
It happens. I'd say podcasts as well, man. Don't just make it live gameplay. Like podcasts, you don't even have to have an audience. Basically thoughts when you both started that.
Yeah.
It was two guys on Google Hangouts just talking. It's another way
Xbox Connect.
Sorry, that one there. Xbox Connect talking. If you've got a couple of people that are like-minded that want to talk to you, if you've got friends who share your passion, you might talk about games. You might talk about, titties. You might have a titty podcast. You're the first ever titty podcast. That
can't be a thing. That can't be an untapped market, can it?
It can't.
Probably.
We gotta find out, because if it is, we need to fucking fill it.
First episode needs to be called Total Recall.
The three-piece. There's 3 hosts. Amazing. Yeah, do that, because if not, there's a lot of pressure, like you say, to play a game, watch viewership, do that. If you've got a podcast, if people show up, they do. If they don't, you can record it, put it out, start to build an audience that way. People start to care about what you're doing, and it's a good way to get a bit more of your personality out if you do struggle narrating gameplay and having personality come out there. I learn a lot about people from listening to them in podcasts. I watch a lot of podcasts, and that's a cool way to do things. Or guest host, guest star on a podcast. Come in. We're always looking for guests on the Revolver Live. We've committed this year to actually having guests. I'm sure we're going to have one before the end of the year at some point. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's more to Twitch or more to streaming than just playing games. I think podcasting, IRL streaming, like vlogging, there's a big market in the IRL thing, just to follow you around if you think you live an interesting life. I mean, Wilson, for example, I'd love to watch him.
I need to see the bus.
Project.
Actually, that's not a bad idea, Wilson. That'd be cool to see an IRL.
No, I've
at the studio.
I've thought about it a bunch of times, and I've definitely had tons of people that said they'd be interested to do it. I've seen some people doing it on Twitch, and they're having a good time doing it. And I feel like I don't know if there's like a humble brag. I feel like there's a few more things I could bring to Twitch that people haven't seen yet from another lamp worker yet. Like
big bag of weed. Huge.
Part of the thing, and this is another bit of advice. I'm becoming a bit of like an audio snob. So like I've got ventilation going, and if I got a microphone, a nice studio mic, and you're gonna hear like a vacuum cleaner going the entire time, no, you can only sit around and listen to that shit for so long, man. I mean, I'm used to hearing the vent because I work, and I block it out or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I'm looking in like studio microphones that like clip on, for like TV shows that kind of block out a lot of background noise and are more like, and like it's definitely something I want to do. I feel like I could have a lot of fun with it. I feel like it would make me want to spend more time at work so I can get the best of both worlds. Like, hey, I want to stream. Well, guess what? I want to stream work, like just pulling big old blobs of molten glass and slinging hot glass around the studio. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Guarantee that even if you don't think your job's that interesting, as long as legally you can record it, you're not like a police officer or something. I'm sure someone out there would find you interesting, like garbage disposal guys, the trash collectors. I'd love to watch like trash collectors.
You love to watch them?
I love to wash them.
They're so dirty.
They're so dirty.
Could you imagine like, how good a vlog would that be? Like 3 guys collecting the trash, just driving around a town, just talking shit, picking up the stuff. That's great. There must be someone out there that could stream that and make it.
The height of excitement is like they pull up to that one trash can that has that pizza box stuck at the bottom, because like the pizza box always gets stuck in there. I know, because for the past 2 weeks, my garbage man has refused to get the garbage box that's crammed in the bottom. It's been in there for a couple weeks now. He'll dump the trash out, look at it, and be like, "Oh, fuck that," throw it back in the fucking
I guarantee you, garbage guys have
so
got
mad.
the best stories. You know, people have thrown dildos away and things like that. People will have found shit. Like, you don't know what you put in your trash, and they do.
I put a squirrel coat on the top of my trash
You
can.
imagine that?
And he took the squirrel too, so it wasn't there the next day.
When I used to play a lot of golf, one of the things people do is they get onto the tee box and you're kind of waiting around for like the group in front of you to get out of your way, so you start talking and you'll meet a lot of people on the tee box. And one of the questions that always gets asked is, "What do you do for work?" And for the longest time, I was telling people I was a trash man, just because I found it fun to just try to like convince somebody I was a trash man. And I did it for like 2 years, just trying to convince people over and over again
awesome.
that was my line of work. It was really fun.
Oh god damn it.
That's the thing. I think IRL live streaming interesting jobs. That's probably an untapped market. And whether you do it on Twitch or Mixer or whatever you do, or Facebook, like you say, Facebook live stream. I mean, you look at, he's not a great role model, but that Logan Paul fella, I didn't even know who he was until the whole dead body in a tree. But apparently he's been putting out a 15-minute vlog of his daily life for just over a year and a half. He's got like 10 million subscribers. You know, it doesn't happen for everyone and stuff. You could do it and not be a total shitbag. That would help.
Would it? Or I don't know. Being a shitbag might actually help in this situation.
Seems to make you.
Like, aren't you more interested to see what a shitbag is up to than what a fucking
Seems like a
normal
shitbag
he's
is
got that
immune
right.
from the YouTube algorithm and
Could you
demonetization.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if like there was 10 million viewers watching a 15-minute vlog from Stephen Accounts, who's just pulling together a spreadsheet every day? Just 15 minutes of him like, if I just put this conditional formula in, now we can see that it updates automatically for the.
Sounds like you're playing Final Fantasy 12, Gary.
Imagine that Steve from accounting is a total shitbag and he's been stealing money every day live on stream. Now you tune in to watch that. He's been embezzling money.
Is Steve from accounting the same autonomous Steve robot that we were talking about?
No. Do not mess with my sacred Steve.
I was just making sure. I don't like seeing painted in that light. You know,
people love to see people do shit. I generally say.
I agree. Like even if it's like, there's a fine line there as well, because like I'd say, be yourself. You know, always try being yourself. Try to always be true to yourself. But there's a lot of successful people out there who aren't, and I'm not going to give that advice and say don't be yourself. Try to be like a total shitbag or be as cringy as you could possibly be. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean sometimes.
So what you're telling me, Wilson, is to be more of a shitbag.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to, but at the same time, I'm like, don't be a shitbag, because, like I said, it seems like they get a free pass from
I'm just
the
hearing,
YouTube algorithm
be a shitbag,
and the
Briar.
demonetization.
Be a shitbag.
Toxic.
If you have millions of viewers, you can't, or millions of subs, you can't deny that some of these guys are exempt from demonetization.
You're talking to a guy who can't even like resist taking the good guy path in like every video game.
Yeah.
Like I can't resist it. I cannot.
I know. It feels
I
so
cannot
wrong.
be the bad guy in a video game.
Like I'll help some old
Brian.
lady in The
It's so
Witcher, and she'll be like, "Here's 20 gold," and I'll be like, "Nah, girl, keep it." You know what I mean? Just because I feel bad.
No, girl, keep it.
We good.
It's cool. I'll steal a bunch of shit from somebody's house. Like, we all know.
I'll be a shitbag while nobody's looking.
Yeah, because that's
take
another
the
game too. I've been
$20.
stealing everything in that game too.
I will take that 20 gold and I'll kill the bitch and take anything else on her corpse.
Of course you would, Gary. Side note, Briar, that's the next game I'm supposed to be playing with Kate.
What's that?
Witcher.
Oh,
we're gonna play and play all the DLC too. So that's it.
Oh, I can't
That's the
wait.
game.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
All right, please tell me you're gonna play it on PC. Please tell me you're gonna play it on PC. Oh no,
I'm
you
gonna play it
got
on PC, but I'm actually really gonna play it on PS4. But I wanted to say it because you said please tell you that.
Are you getting an Xbox One X? Because it runs at 60 frames per second on Xbox One X.
I'm not paying 500 fucking. I'll hit fast forward on the video and it'll run at 60 frames. Shit, $500 for 60 frames.
If you buy it on the PC, there's a mode that you can turn it into 8 times speed, so you don't have to play the game. You can just skip straight through it.
That sounds.
Okay.
Now, are there gambits? Is there a gambits? If I can make Geralt do what I want to do preemptively.
Do Gerald's Gambit system. You don't even have to play the game.
If there are gambits, then we're down. One other thing I noticed while we're winding down episode 24 of Revolver Live, we didn't get a chance to mention our sponsor today. And I know you guys love to hear it every week, as I do, the soft and sultry sounds of Gary Diaz as he runs the gamut, or the gambit, of bagadicks.com.
our sponsors at Bag of Dicks would not be happy, but yeah, I think we should maybe have the ad read play us out. What do we think? Is that a good way to go?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, sounds like a great idea.
Perfect. So there's ad reads for many different products, but this one is for a bag of dicks. There are times in your life when sometimes you want to give a special someone a perfect gift, a gift so precious and majestic that mere flowers, perfume, or aftershaves will not cut it. No, for times like these, there's only one gift that will show them the caliber of your persons and your true intentions, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a small jewelry box filled with a variety of coloured male genitals. Bagofdicks.com offers an anonymous mail order service where you, yes you, can send anyone you so desire some purple-headed yogurt slingers. They have a smorgasbord of products to suit each and every one of your specific pork sword needs, including the brand new box o' singing dicks. Revolver are pleased to announce our sponsorship, and we're offering you, yes you, our debauched and perverted listeners, a ludicrous promotion of 20% off your order at bagofdicks.com using the code RevolverLive. I can't guarantee the recipient of your Giggle Stick Love package will offer you the sexual favours that you so desire, but let's be honest, it can't help your chances much either. If you're convinced about the perfect marriage of penis and confectionery, head straight to bagofdicks.com and remember your Revolver Live promo code for a sweet discount on your order of baloney ponies. This has been Revolver Live. Thank you for listening and enjoy your dicks.